Chat. Hello. Welcome to Floral's year. Oh, what is going on right now? Floral's year of 2025. I present my year of 2025. It has been a hell of a year for games. As you may know, the Game Awards was pretty fucking nuts. Although, if you watch the Game Awards, you would assume there was only one good game this year, that being Clair Obscur, when there was actually like 50,000. Can I guess how many games I've played? Sure. Because if we're counting unfinished, gonna guess 39. Yeah, double that. Like, Clair Obscur, a bunch of other RPGs came out this year. Obviously, I did my Persona 5 series, which I broke up into 3 seasons. We did the second God of War, like new game series, God of War Ragnarok. We then returned to Persona 5 with Golden Week. We did a whole week of streams. Following season 2 of Persona 5, we did Metal Gear Rising and also DMC Devil May Cry as kind of a joint series together. That was a lot of fun. Those 2 games were fucking wild. And then we did Ace Attorney 1. Flower game, like, yeah, I was a massive gamer this year, 100%. Did Ace Attorney after that, leading up to Case 5, but I would have done Case 5, chat, if Silksong didn't fucking come out. And basically changed my entire schedule for September. I went through all of Silksong in that month on stream. It was a lot of fun to get that game done and dusted. And then we had Spooptober, we had Silent Hill F, Slay the Princess, Misside, Clock Tower Rewind, the HD remake, and also Heartworm were Spooptober games. And then we finished the year with Persona 5 Season 3 and finally got that game completed 2 days ago on stream. It was a lot of games. This year's not going to have a massive feature stream like Persona 5. 2026 is going to be a little different, I think. How dare Team Cherry release a game? I know. With such short notice, too. But yeah, chat, this is going to be very chill. We're just going to be making our way through the games that I've played this year. Starting with Unfinished. The unfinished games. The games that Flower did not complete. Now, there are exceptions to this that are on the ranking, but I'll explain why they're on the ranking when we get to them. Okay? But, yeah. Unfinished games are games I have not completed. Pretty self-explanatory. For one reason or another, I didn't even get past one sitting on some of these games, but I did play them, so I felt like I had to include them. So, Kato. Buttered Cat. Team, can I guess how many unfinished games? I don't know, so you can guess however you want. But Kato was a little puzzle game that I was gifted by a friend at the beginning, or I think it was actually Christmas time I was gifted it. Basically a game where, you know the myth, the meme, of like where the cat has to land on his feet, and butter has to land butter side up? Basically, if you combine a cat and the bread together, you get like a paradox, because both have to stay up and they just start spinning forever if you don't do that. That's what this game is. It's actually a really good puzzle game. There are a lot of good little puzzles in this. I don't remember many of them, but the way it was designed, it was a very pretty game. It reminded me a lot of Celeste in terms of its pixel art style. If you want like a little game to sit down, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of those like mobile games, like back in the day, or like an Angry Birds, or Where's My Water, for example. Plants vs. Zombies as well. It was gifted by a friend. At least they were a friend before they gifted this. No. The unfinished games don't mean they're bad. Some of them are bad. I don't know if there isn't actually any bad games here, but some of them, they're all fine. What's the song? Metroid Prime 2. Next is Fog Monster. Okay, now we can get on to games I didn't like. No, I really like this game's art style. If you want to see someone actually finish it, I highly recommend watching Maelstrom playing through this entire game. It's basically an FPS with a very like voxel art style to it. Big pixels. It's a boss rush basically similar to Cuphead, but there is like levels in between the bosses and there are enemies as well. I liked the first like 25% of this game, but after a certain point, it just became far too difficult. There's a whole stream, I think, of Maelstrom fighting a boss with the meme and Supo, because suddenly the boss became a lot harder when Supo showed up, the little fog guy, and I don't know if Maelstrom beat Supo. I think he did. I'm not entirely sure. But no, I watched him play through that, and there was some cool things. I mean, this game's really cool. For a single person making this game, it's very cool what they were able to get away with in this FPS game. And I can't say the bosses were designed poorly for the most part. They were pretty well designed. They were fucking brutal difficulty for no reason. There was one aspect that I really liked, like the thing where returning to the hub is instantaneous. It like opens a portal, and when you walk through it, there's no transition. It just puts you back in that area. That was crazy. I was like, what the fuck? You can do that? And yeah, you can, apparently. Like, there's no loading screen. You just go back to the hub area, and you can see the other area through it. I want more games to do that, man. Red Dead Redemption 2. This is one of the games, chat, where I came back to it for, I think, one episode. Because I was like, it's been a while since I played Red Dead Redemption 2. Why don't I replay this? No, this game's too long. And I realized that while I was going to enjoy it, I had already seen the game. I had already seen the story. And that's all I really cared about. The common consensus that the gameplay in this isn't great. It's fine. I kind of agree with. I think that the amount of effort and love put into this, whether it be the NPCs and their ridiculous routines they go on, or just the crazy attention to detail, the same reason that GTA 6 is taking so long to come out. It's a good game, chat. It is a good game, but I think replaying it was a no-go. Unless I had like crazy mods or a randomizer on, I don't think I want to go back to this. But yeah, as Jeppo says, I do like Arthur Morgan. I think he's a great protagonist, and I enjoy Roger Clark. Got some jelly beans. Right, so this is a mod, a fan-made ROM hack, if you will, of Super Mario Galaxy 2 Rhythm Thief music. Oh yeah, it is. Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure. So, this is another game which I sat down for like 2 seconds. I like playing ROM hacks, chat. ROM hacks are great. And there was a really good one for Mario Galaxy 2 that came out. I didn't play this though, not because I wasn't enjoying it, but because I just fell off it immediately. Basically, it's Super Mario Galaxy 2, but all the levels are redesigned. With more difficulty tied to them. And I think there are like actual custom galaxies in this as well. Just, fans are nuts, chat. The fact that the fan made this and like added new things to Mario Galaxy 2, like I want a new Mario Galaxy game, who doesn't? Who doesn't want a new Mario Galaxy game? And yeah, just seeing the amount of effort put into this, I hope Nintendo doesn't kill them. I hope Nintendo aren't watching this and are like, oh, we must kill them. I play RDR1 for the first time. I'm like, holy shit, they made something like this in 2008, yeah? They hate fan games. I mean, they hate people using their IP. Sheppo is a bit different. Like, they're allowed to defend their IP, but also the way they do it is a bit scummy. Without, like, giving any warning, they just kill the devs, basically. What's this song? Bell of Avicii, Infinite Nightmare. No, but there was that, like, little Breath of the Wild fan game I found out about recently that was made by a fan over 7 years. And you play as a little guardian going through a shrine. And it looked really cool. But Nintendo took them down, apparently. And that's sad. That's always sad. I mean, Nintendo also took down the AM2R devs as well, which I will never forgive them for, because that is, like, generally just a full Metroid game. I think their lack of... Well, no, we can't say fuck off Nintendo, because, like, again, they're allowed to defend their IP, but the way they did it was fucked, because you could have, like, given them verbal warning, or at least be like, oh, we appreciate the fact that you put 7 years into this, but don't use our license. So I played about 2 seconds of Demon Slayer, the Himekami Chronicles. So it's here. I played it. It's fine. It reminds me of the Xenoverse games from Dragon Ball. And that's it. Secrets of Grindia. I played for 2 seconds with a friend, and that's it. No, I'll talk a bit more about Secrets of Grindia. I didn't play more Himekami Chronicles because I just stopped playing immediately. But Secrets of Grindia was a small indie RPG where you play with a friend. You know when me and Maelstrom played Pampers and Celine, which was that 2D Metroidvania, which was multiplayer? This is kind of like that, but for RPGs, where you play with another person. And the reason why I haven't played more of it, chat, is because I haven't had a chance to sit down with my friend and play more of it. We've just been too busy since then. But it's cool. It's a cool video game. I can't really say anything else about it because we played it for like an hour. Rise of the Ronin. Okay, so there's a bit of a story with this one, chat. I was very excited for this because I like Team Ninja a lot. I enjoy most of their games, most of them, in big quotations. I like Neo, and I was like, this is an open world Neo game. Let's see what it's like. This game ran like utter garbage. I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked by how bad this game ran. My PC isn't that bad, chat. It's pretty good. It can run most games. But oh my god. I couldn't even get through the hub area because it just struggled so much. And I was just like, I'm done. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm not interested enough to play this. Like, I think the combat's cool, but the game struggling every 2 seconds to render something in? No, I can't. I'm sorry, Rise of the Ronin. I don't care about you enough to want to give you more time. This Ronin guy was a free DLC bot in Astrobot. That's cool. Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree, is a Metroidvania that kind of has almost a Diablo-esque design to it, where big sprawling levels, massive inventory system. I was quite impressed by the first cutscene and found out this game is made by an indie team. But my problem with it is it did not mesh well with me, chat. I thought it looked cool, it looked fine, but when I realized how much inventory management was going to be in this game, I was like, I wasn't ready for this. I wanted to play a Metroidvania, not Diablo. So I kind of fell off pretty hard. Also, I wasn't a big fan of the art style. I think it looks fine. And a game like Grime can work pretty well for me if the gameplay is good enough. But considering how this game takes a very RPG approach with its combat, I was like, I don't, not at this time in my life I want to play it. Oblivion Remastered. Am I gonna get hate for not finishing this game? I've never played Oblivion, chat, before this point. The only Bethesda game that I had played from Elder Scrolls was Skyrim, and I didn't even finish Skyrim. I never got to its end. Oblivion Remastered is insane. When it came out, people lost their mind. We were like, oh my god, Bethesda actually did something good for once. Like, this is the best thing Bethesda have made in like the last 5 years. Maybe 10 years. Maybe since Skyrim, actually. I don't know. But I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. It was a very, very boring. It's boring, chat. It's really boring. The fantasy elements are fine, but there's nothing here that grabs you. It's the same thing I had with Dragon's Dogma, where I like the idea of the concept. Like, the actual, when you got to the end of Dragon's Dogma, I was like, fuck yeah, this is cool as hell, the lore here. But at the beginning, it's just generic fantasy. So it took me, it took a lot for me to continue trudging through this game. Not to mention, it's an old-ass game, Flower, emphasis on ass, yeah. But like, I was expecting it to be a lot better considering what people told me about it. People told me that this game was really fucking good. I was like, it certainly is a video game. I'm very glad it was made, and I'm very glad Bethesda fans can have their lukewarm RPG fantasy game. I'll stick with, not this. Okay, here we go. Winterheart, you talked about games that I hated so much that I didn't want to play more of. Here you go, chat. Here's prime example. If this is in my ranking, it will probably be very, very fucking low. Shadow Labyrinth. When I saw this game at the Nintendo Direct, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Like an edgy Pac-Man game where you like consume monsters and take their abilities. I was down the clown of that. And it was a Metroidvania. I mean, it had all the things I wanted for it to be a good game. But then the devs didn't know how to make a Metroidvania. Like, this game was really shit, chat. You need to go watch my episode I did on this. There should be like a little YouTube symbol here, actually. I apologize. If it's... that's something I didn't mention before, by the way. It was a little YouTube symbol, like here in the top left corner. Let me draw it in. Or laser pointer. There's a little YouTube symbol here. It means there's a video of it on my channel at the very least. Like, there will be full series as well for some of them, but like there should be a YouTube symbol here. But what did I think of Shadow Labyrinth? It was a very bad Metroidvania that did not take any of the quality of life features that have slowly been progressing in the Metroidvania scene. It looked like... It didn't look great. I thought the art style was fine for the most part, but the map... We joked about it during the stream, but the map you get given... Firstly, it's bad. But secondly, it looks like it was made in MS Paint. I don't know how much time was put into this. There was a... Just subscribed. Thank you for subscribing, Jeppo. I forgot you had a YouTube exclamation mark links or Kitsu, and you can see all of my information. Not Kitsu, that's anime. Exclamation mark Linktree. I don't know if that works either. Exclamation mark links will give you the links to all of my stuff, including my YouTube channel where my VODs are, and also my other channel, which is my Vine Source confirmation channel. That did not work. It should work. Why didn't that work? Exclamation mark links does not work? Excuse me? Kitsu community. I don't have a command for my community. I'm also sub to Flower, but only for the premium content. It's true. All that premium content I have ready to go. Why don't I have a thing for this? Blue Sky community kits. I got my Kitsu link, but I haven't got a link for people to just click on my stuff. Oh no, exclamation mark YouTube will give you my YouTube stuff. There you go. So exclamation mark YouTube chat if you want to find out about my YouTube stuff. Right. That's all the games I haven't finished, chat. We did it. We got through it. We're getting through this so quickly. Revisits, replays. Games that I have returned to because I like them a lot. And I wanted to give them a replay through because I was interested in it. Ghost Trick? Indeed. Have we streamed that yet? I might stream if I want to. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Now, it does say randomizer here, because technically it's still Sekiro. I haven't played the randomizer, but I have played Sekiro. There was a randomizer for this game that changed every single enemy and all the bosses and shuffled them around, and I had an absolute blast of it. I spent about a week and a half just going through the game again and getting my ass handed to me I'm pretty sure the final boss of the game was in the final area right before when you're meant to fight him. That was great. It was actually a really cool arena to fight him in. And I will say, I did use a little bit of cheating to get through certain encounters, but it was fun. Did have a good time with this. Red Dead Redemption Revisit. I say revisit, chat, but I'm not gonna lie, I've never actually finished Red Dead Redemption on my own. I've seen other people play it, and I've seen the ending, obviously, but I've never fully finished it myself. This is my first time doing it, like, really. Did you do Undead Nightmare as well? I did not. Because I'm not gonna lie, I know this game is popular, I know people love this game to pieces. I found it really boring. Same way that Red Dead Redemption 2 was boring, I think the story in 2 is stronger than this game. I will say going into this, I was like, oh, this is the entire thing, isn't it? Just shoot, mission, lots of talking, and then walking. Wow, what a John hater. I like John as a character. I think Arthur is vastly superior. L.A. Noire is my favorite Rockstar game. That's the game where you just ride around a lot in the car, isn't it? I don't hate this game, but it does fall into the Rockstar thing of the gameplay is very repetitive, and I think they've gotten better with the gameplay over the years, and I'm curious to see what they do with GTA 6, which is going to come out next year, apparently. But this game in particular was just Red Dead Redemption 2, but a lot less going on in it, and because of that, I kind of had... It was kind of a hard meal to swallow. Arthur cleans up well. John looks like a bobcat's breakfast no matter what you do with him. We don't know if it gets delayed again. We don't. It might get delayed. Doom Eternal plus Ancient Gods DLC Revisit. I played through Doom Eternal again, my favorite Doom game, and I loved it. This game is fantastic, chat. I think Dark Ages is fine. Dark Ages is a fine video game. I played this game in preparation for the Dark Ages, so I'd be ready for it. And I will say that this game is better than Dark Ages by a fair fucking margin. It's just, there's something about the gameplay in this that I think trumps the other Doom games. Like, it's very much an arena shooter, where every single enemy has a gimmick to them, and you have to use a certain gun on them to deal with them. This Crypt of the Necrodancer? No, it's not. It's Horizon Chase Turbo. Okay, well, that's not a game I thought it was going to be. Also, the song is called Race 12, The Last Hurrah of a Video Game Composer. I'm sorry, what? Why is it called that? Anyway. I went through Doom Eternal, chat, and had a great time with it. I just love how this game is designed. Even the DLC is fantastic. They just take the mechanics from the main story or the main game and twist them a little bit with the new enemy varieties. The bosses, I think, in the DLC are far better than the ones in the base game. I think the series struggles with bosses. I think Dark Ages is like an example of them like fixing that, albeit making other things worse. I hate the gimmick stuff. I know some people like the constant weapon switching, but I cannot be asked to juggle it in my power fantasies. Well, I think it adds to my power fantasies that I get to completely like destroy an enemy with a certain gun. I will say the Dark Ages is nicer in that regard, where they give you more. You don't have to use a certain item on an enemy to kill them. But counterpoint, it makes encounters feel a lot more boring, because you can just use the same weapon every single time. In Eternal, you need to be constantly on the fly and have more variety in that regard. So that makes every single fight in this game unique. And plus, like, stylistically, I think this is the best Doom game. Has a bunch of really cool, unique worlds. It's not just stuck in one setting. I wouldn't say Dark Ages is stuck in one setting, but it does kind of feel like generic in terms of storytelling. At least this game doesn't try. Bloodborne. I played Bloodborne on PC. You might be wondering how the fuck I did this. There was a overclocked version of Bloodborne that you can play on your PC right now, chat. and it's really fucking good. I think Maelstrom played it back on a VOT Sunday a while ago. It runs really well. It looks great. There's a bunch of little hacks you can do to make it run better. And I went through the All of Bloodborne again, and I remembered how much I suck at this game. I actually did a lot better in this than I did the first time I played it on stream. I think I got Orphan of Kos in like 3 attempts. That made me happy. I was terrified of fighting a Bretus again because I remember that boss giving me a massive, being a massive pain. But I actually did a pretty good job of it, I think. Also, I just realized I finished this game a day before the 10th anniversary. Look, it came out on the 24th of March, 2015, and I finished it on the 23rd. That was entirely unintentional, chat. I didn't realize I was playing it for the anniversary. This Final Fantasy 13? Yes. 13-2. So, you may be aware, speaking of Final Fantasy, you may be aware that I went through a sort of Final Fantasy marathon after playing Final Fantasy 14. I played through the majority of the games, the main ones from the series, but there was a game that broke me. There was a game that actually made me go, I kind of want to put this on hiatus for a bit because I fucking hate it. And that game is the game you see right in front of you. Final Fantasy IV, The After Years, is worse than 10-2. Saying that, you might be like, that's quite the bold statement. It is the bold statement, because holy shit, what were they thinking? This is originally WiiWare exclusive. So if you don't know what Final Fantasy 14 is, Final Fantasy IV is, it's basically 4, but with the same with new characters in the new settings, in the same settings, in the same dungeons, and the story is so dry that it feels like you're in a desert. I've never played a game with less excitement in it than this one. Gilgamesh is there, he's cool, I didn't even fucking see him. I don't care. But yeah, bad video game. I did not finish this, and I don't want to even go back to it because he was in the first final dungeon. Okay, well I don't necessarily care spoiler wise anyway. Resident Evil 4 Biorand, continuing the randomizer thing. Why does it say unfinished? I did finish this. Wait, no, I didn't finish this. Why is it in the revisit category? See, even after going through this list like an hour last night, I still forgot to put things in their correct positions. If you don't know what Biorand is, chat, I checked it out during the VOT Sunday, the last VOT Sunday that was done, and I also played it last year for a Christmas episode of Resident Evil 2. I went through an entire randomizer, it was great. Biorand is basically a bunch of people came together and they were like, let's make it so you can randomize almost everything in these games. And that goes Resident Evil 4. How bad is it? It's great. It's not bad. Or difficulty-wise. It's determined by the randomizer. But I will say, this randomizer was terrifying. It was a time, chat. I don't remember that much about it, but I do remember a lot of scary monsters that you could only kill with the stun grenade appeared, and I didn't have a stun grenade. But no, highly recommend checking out Biorand. If you've got Resident Evil game like Resident Evil 2 Remake or 4 Remake, it should work with this. And all you need to do is go on their website. I think you have to go on their Discord for the Resident Evil 4 and 2 Remake Biorands, but definitely worth checking out if you're interested, chat. Wind Waker HD. So my Zelda game I played last year was Wind Waker HD. I kind of had a break from Zelda this year, considering we had the Hyrule Rumble last year, and we also had Echoes of Wisdom, and I don't know if Tears came out last year, but it was Echoes of Wisdom, which I thought was fine. It was a fine video game. Wind Waker HD. I remembered how much I don't like the second half of this game. Even with all the quality of life stuff that made the Triforce hunt easier, I just didn't care for it. I did use a guide to clear the map, which was fun. I did enjoy clearing the map. But, like, the main thing this game has going for is its whimsy and the art style. I think the gameplay is fine. The dungeon roster is very weak. I think the only dungeon I like in this game is probably Temple of the Gods. I like the big tower and the command puzzle you have to do with it, and the fact that you got to use the King of Red Lions to go inside of the tower itself and ride around on him. Is the only dungeon in the game that uses the King of Red Lions. And like, the thing about this game is it was rushed. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that Wind Waker was rushed. For some reason, a bunch of the Nintendo GameCube games were rushed. Like this, Mario Sunshine, both games struggled because of that. But I don't hate this game. I think it's a very good Zelda, but I do think it is kind of overshadowed by Twilight Princess, which is a vastly superior game, in my opinion. Just in terms of it being a complete video game and not rushed. Luigi's Mansion 3, I played in summer for some reason. I think this is around the time that the Switch 2 came out, so I wanted to play a Switch 1 game on my Switch 2, and I for some reason chose Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm a big Luigi's Mansion fan, chat. I played the first game ages ago. I like 2 a lot. I think I played 2 last year. So I think that was on the ranking last year. But Luigi's Mansion 3, great game. I think it's the best one in the series, in my opinion. I think 1 has, you know, the horror aspect to it, where it's actually generally scary in spots. And it's very traditional, like a haunted house. You go through it, and you fight scary ghosts. Like, there's something kind of novel about that, and it's still nostalgic. But Luigi's Mansion 3 goes, okay, what if we did that, but every single floor is a different kind of horror, and you need to deal with the monsters on each floor. And I think, personally, it's really cool. I also forgot, chat, this is a mild spoiler, I forgot how hard the final boss is in this game. Like, Jesus Christ! Like, like Mario games don't usually have that difficult final bosses, but this game's final boss put me through the ringer. I was like, holy shit! Maybe it's because I'm used to, like, Nintendo, like, making their games really easy now, and I wasn't ready for them actually, like, pulling up the gloves here. I hope we get a new Luigi's Mansion game soon. I would like to see another one. I don't know where it would be set. I saw a good, like, rumor that, like, they think it should be set, well, not a rumor, a theory, or at least an idea that Luigi's Mansion 4 should be set in an amusement park, and I agree. I think that sounds great, because there's so much you could do with that setting. And moving on to our next revisit, Hi-Fi Rush. One of my favourite games, I think. I played this back when it came out. I didn't even know it was made by Tango Gameworks, the devs behind Evil Within. A game of not edgy Robbie Damon. Yeah, the main character is voiced by Robbie Damon. I didn't know that before playing this, but I did find out while playing it. Similar to Dispatch, that came out recently, this game has an impeccable art style. It is crazy how beautiful this game is. And I think it's that good all the way through. Bosses are fantastic. Everything in this game is great. Chat, there's not a single part of this game I dislike, I don't think. Like, it is paced really well. You enjoy it. Like, it does, like, play this game. Please play this game. And I'm hoping Tango get to make a new one. I love the Evil Within references. Probably won't get that in the sequel, if we do get a sequel to this, because, that is owned by Xbox, not, Tango. But it's nuts to me, thinking that these devs made Evil Within, a game that wasn't loved by many people. And they made Evil Within 2, which I think is far better. Horror games that have like generally terrifying elements in them, and then they just made this, which I think is an entirely different tone, but is great. Cool video game. Good job, guys. Nice job, Kermit. Thank you. Terraria modded. There's a lot of games I revisited here, huh? I don't think there were so many. I don't think I played this that long, but I did get to the Wall of Flesh. I do remember getting to the Wall of Flesh, which was the end of the part 1, act 1 of the game. 2011. This game's really old. It's also really fucking good. If you want a good time, chat, and haven't played this, and want a survival game, it's really good. And it only costs, like, I think £4. Relogic have never made this game cost more than, I think, like, £10 at any point. And the amount of content you can get out of Terraria, it's very similar to Minecraft in the sense that there is such a big modding community behind this game. There is so much you can do with this. I do think I should have put this in the unfinished category, though, because I don't think I actually finished the actual game and got the credits. But no, very good video game, and I enjoyed playing it with mods, despite not knowing that much about the mods themselves. Silent Hill 2 Remake. I remember playing this in anticipation for Silent Hill F, but also because I knew Maelstrom was going to be playing it in October. I played this again with hard puzzles on, which I'll give in a review here, because I've already reviewed this game before. I think I reviewed it last year. The hard puzzles were not that hard, chat. I know that's coming from someone who's, you know, played a lot of horror puzzle games, I guess, maybe, and would have experience with these sorts of puzzles, but they weren't that difficult, I guess is the word I'm trying to say. Like, they had more thought behind them, and you had to actually think for a second, but, like, compared to the base ones, they were just kind of like, oh, it's just this. Right, okay, well, that's not that hard to work out. Which I didn't mind. I just kind of wish they were, you know, kind of on the level of the original game, where there was a Shakespeare puzzle in Silent Hill 3 that you actually had to know Shakespeare for. I kind of wanted that, almost, like, actually having to work out, like, real-world shit to get to the answer. Although I do remember the hard mode puzzles in the original game were broken for Silent Hill 2. I do believe that a lot of the puzzles themselves you couldn't actually solve. Like, I think they didn't give you enough clues to them, if I remember properly. Misc. So I believe Misc are just like games that I don't think I what's the word I'm trying to look for here? Misc are games basically that I either didn't finish, or are compilations of games that didn't make sense to put in the actual ranking. So these are everything else. I love miscellaneous stuff. Yeah. Here we go, chat. Haunted PS1 demo disc Flipside Fights. I felt bad putting this in the ranking because this isn't a game, it's a collection of small promotional indie games for releases. But I did play through this. The whole series is out on my channel. It was a lot of fun going between a couple of these games. I do believe Heartworm was in this, if I remember correctly. I don't know if I don't know if that's true actually or not. But I love playing these because they usually give me inspiration for horror games to play during October. I don't remember what the ones I played were though. Blessed Burden was one of them, which did end up being a full game I played this year. But just to go through the ranking. Okay, I'm going to go in here. And then we're going to go to playlists, and I'm going to go to Flipside. I don't know if I actually ranked them. I think I did. Oh yeah, so there was No Players Online, there was Trip, Spirit Walker, Children of Saturn, Subversive Memories, Forklift Flower Pot, Friend Shapes, Axis, The Hungry Fly, Last Time I Saw You, Blessed Burden, A for Singularity, No Strings Attached, Reduxed, Angeline Error, which I do actually want to play that. That might even be a stream, chat, because that game looks fucking awesome and is apparently really good. And it just came out recently. It's like a traditional PS1-esque RPG with a like kind of Trials of Mana-esque combat. The Lacerator, Prison of Husk, which also I'm looking forward to. Juice, Scissors in Hell, Sorrow, Tiki's Tower of Time, Death in Abyss, Tori Saturn, Eclipsion, 500 caliber contracts, and there is probably a bunch more here, but I think I ranked them all at the end as well. So chat, if you want to see this and want to check it out, it's very good. I think I even got a comment from the dev of Blessed Burden while I played that, so that was cool. I think I will maybe at some point go through the what's the word I'm looking for? I'll go through the Madvent for this year at some point, because it's not Christmas anymore, obviously, maybe, and it's kind of hard to do it after Christmas, but I don't know. But no, yeah, if you want to play an indie horror game and are interested in it, check this out, chat. It's really good. Create Astral Space Reborn. This is a Minecraft mod, chat. I got a lot more into Minecraft this year. I played a bunch of mods. The main one I played was a mod called Stoneblock 4, which was really good. I also made a Christmas village recently in Minecraft, but I didn't include Minecraft in the revisit category. I didn't think it made sense, because it's the kind of game you can always just come back to. And I can see myself coming back to it next year as well, because I've always got it on my PC. But Create Astral basically uses the mod called Create, and allows you to go through a quest book to basically go to space. Create is nuts. It's this really expansive mod that basically allows you to have massive machines that have like actual conveyor belts, gears, twisting, kind of motors, that kind of thing. It is so in-depth that it's basically a whole new game. There's more content in Create than I think in like actual Minecraft, at least when it comes to tech. Like if you want like an actual like new biomes and stuff, Create doesn't do that, but I think there is like a subsection for it, if I remember correctly. And it does add new stuff. It does add new items you collect in the world as well. I think it has andesite casings as well. But no, very fun. I enjoyed. Eternity 2. I'm also a big Doom fan, chat. I don't know if you can tell, but I like Doom a lot. I played Eternity 1 a couple of years ago, and I was blown away by how good some of the mods are. So if you don't know what a Doom mod is, it's basically a map, but Eternity is a collection of Doom mods that kind of follow a theme. So similar to Flipside Fights, I did rank these, which you can find. I don't know if I actually did do a video on it. I don't know if I did. Maybe I didn't, but I probably won't do it now because out of my memory. But yeah, basically a whole collection of maps that are excellent, so well made, and has a really great boss at the end as well. I highly recommend, like, if you're looking for something to play, if you want to play an FPS, always worth looking for Doom mods, because they're always coming out every single year to do a thing called the Caca Awards, like Caca Demons, where they kind of go through the 10 most popular Doom mods that came out that year and give a bunch of descriptions about them. Also, honorable mentions as well. There's always a Doom mod you could play, chat. You have an endless amount of mods. I feel like the modding scene behind Doom is even bigger than Mario in some ways, because of how good the engine is. The GT Doom and Z Doom are really cool. ZDL as well, as the launcher itself. Guild Wars 2. We were playing this in Lena's Discord recently. I was pulled in by this game, chat. By the people in the Discord. No, definitely not. And I played a bit of it. I have fallen off it a bit now, but I might go back to it. I mean, I'm going to come back to it because I bought the full game, so I actually want to put time into it since I've now paid for it. But to kind of give a brief summary, I like how the game flows. Like, the main thing of the game so far I've had is going between areas and on the map. By the way, the map is so impressive in that game. Oh my god, why is the map so good in this compared to Final Fantasy XIV? you go between locations and you do little quests. You got to build up a heart gauge, and once that's complete, you can go to the next area and do more stuff there. I like that flow. The fact that you can do different things to achieve the same objective as well in those areas is also a lot of fun. The game looks great. I love how it looks. The cities are enormous. Like, the human settlement in this game is giant. It's so beautiful as well. We did the Christmas event there, which took, like, I think an hour. Nah, it wasn't an hour. It was like 40 minutes or so. Like, we were surprised by how long the Christmas event went on for. But there's fates you can do in this game as well, very similar to Final Fantasy 14. There's dungeons. I definitely want to come back to it and play a little bit more of it. But I mean, I kind of fell off it, chat, because I was playing Final Fantasy 14 because the new patch came out this month. So yeah, I'll come back to it, maybe give more information next year if I decide to play more of it. And now, we can go back to this screen. We can go back to this screen. Sorry, it shouldn't have gone to the Ace Attorney screen. Give me a second. Normal screen. Game screen. So, before we get into this chat, I'm going to go on a small break, grab a drink, and also eat a packet of crisps. I will see you guys in a second. Enjoy the intermission. What's this music? Baton Katos Origins. Chat, I really love God of War 2014. You're going to be really sad when you find where God of War Ragnarok is on here. So, to go through the information here, chat, I have ranked the position of the game in the top left, and then the top right is my actual rating. Some of the Metacritic is going to have a number tied to it. 100 is the absolute best of the best. 50 is not good. Right. Without further ado, the worst game that Flower has played in 2025 is... Drumroll, please. Finding Nemo on the Game Boy Advance. I bet you weren't expecting that. Might be wondering, Flower, why the fuck did you play this? Well, let me tell you something, chap. I had a series chat called Soul Harvest at the beginning of the year. I did stop doing that series because I stopped doing the Crypt of Karma, which basically was a means for you to allow me to do Soul Harvest if I rolled poorly every single stream. And this happened a lot, chat. And this is the game that I played at the beginning of last year. Finding Nemo on the GBA. Words cannot describe how... This game started off pretty promising. I didn't hate it. The art style was quite impressive for a GBA game. It did only have like 2 pieces of music in it, which did start to make me go insane. Obviously, it's one of those movie tie-in games, so it's not going to be absolutely perfect. It's going to have a lot of reused assets in it. But I was interested. I was fine with it. Until I reached a mission where you have to speak to every single person as Nemo in the fish tank, and then I lost my mind because there's a mini game in there. We need to catch bubbles, and the mini game is literally RNG, and I was losing my mind trying to do it. I felt like I was going insane. If you want to watch a man go insane, watch this video, because I did. And then later on, there's a mission where you need to play as Nemo through like these oxygen pipes, and I was like, you had to move like a little rock along to go against the water's flow. It was mental. It was so insane. I was just like, I hated it. I hated it so much, and it sucked because like I thought the rest of the game was fine, and then there was these 2 segments that were literally unplayable, and I had to like fight against the controls to even do them. And because of my vicious hatred for those segments, this game is the worst game that I played in 2025. Moving on. The Revenge of Shinobi. The second old classic Shinobi game. I was meant to play Way of Art of Vengeance this year, the new Shinobi game that was made by Sega. but I didn't have a chance to do it because I was so busy with other things. I did a series at the beginning of the year separate to my Soul Harvest series called Flower Suffers, where I basically played a bunch of old NES brutal fuck-off games. This music's so sad. Shadow Hearts 2. Callan. Oh. And, like, the first Shinobi game wasn't great, admittedly. It wasn't that good. It had the interesting mechanic of flipping from the foreground to the background, which I thought was neat. The Revenge of Shinobi is fucking miserable. In, like, the ways of... This game, I don't think was made... No, it wasn't made on the NES, I believe. I don't know. Not entirely too sure. But this game took, like, the hardest elements from Shinobi 1 and was like, we're going to make the entire game that, and you're just going to have a miserable fucking time across this entire experience. This was Genesis? Yeah, no, that makes sense, actually. So, there are bosses in this game with, like, the smallest hitbox in the world, and the game expects you to hit them. That wasn't fun. But the absolute cake, the absolute stocking stuffer of this miserable experience of me playing this fucking awful-ass video game was the final boss. The final boss in this game is a time limit fight. If you don't beat the boss in a certain amount of time, your love interest gets squashed and killed. The issue with this boss is it's absolutely relentless. You know, like the final boss in Ninja Gaiden 1, where he has like the fire attack? Imagine that, and then also having to make sure that your love interest doesn't die. So it's timed, you can't do it slowly, and you also have to pull a lever every so often to make sure the rope doesn't, like, go down and kill your love interest. It was fucking annoying as hell. It's got to be one of the worst final bosses in a video game. It better be on, like, every, like, top 10 worst final bosses, because it was miserable. Like, I thought I hated the final boss in Ninja Gaiden 3, but that takes the cake. And now it's time to rant, chat. Because I'm going to be talking about Everhood. Everhood 2. You probably don't know what Everhood is, because it's a game series that is very niche. Well, Everhood 1, anyway, was a very niche game that I played back when it came out. I think in 2021, I think? And the devs made a sequel to it. I would like Everhood 1 because it tackled... it was like reverse Undertale in a lot of ways, where it tackled themes of genocide and required genocide to basically save a world. And it spoke a lot about the meaning of life. It also had trippy-ass boss fights in it, which used music notes. They had a dodge on a track, and then fire them back at the boss, I think, after the halfway point where you can actually fight back. The music was great. The actual boss designs are really fantastic. Just an exceptional game in its presentation. I highly recommend checking it out if you want to play a really good psychedelic, music-driven game. The devs did a great job of it. And then we have Everhood 2. A game that I actually thought was doing a pretty good job for the first bit of it. It followed Everhood 1's design, where you go for these mysterious doors and end up in different storylines and have to cope with them. But after you fight the dragon boss in it, the game just falls apart. Not to go too much into spoilers, but the general premise of the game is that the theme is that nothing matters. While Everhood 1 was about the feeling of the meaning of life and finding something to do with your afterlife, Everhood 2 is a game where it's like, in immortality, what matters? Nothing, because it goes on forever and forever. I don't think the game tackled its theme very well, because the devs forgot that while they're making a story, they're also making a fucking video game. You can't make the audience, the people playing, pay for a game, doesn't have a fucking ending. This rewinds back to a certain point. The idea is that nothing matters, and that you're going through the same loop over and over again. But you have to have payoff to that, otherwise the game feels unfinished. And the annoying thing is, this game does have a lot of good elements to it. I think the bosses are really good, for the most part. like the same quality as the first game. I do think the first game had better designs and better story impact in the fights themselves. The one exception to that in this game, which I really liked, was the dragon fight, which dug into a lot of psychological horror, with like the idea of like Jungian horror, whereas the unknowable, which I like a lot. That's something that I'm currently doing in my tabletop game, is the idea of the unknowable, like Cthulhian horror of something that you cannot interpret and understand, and dealing with that. And the fight itself is really impressive. The fight itself is here. It's what you can see on the screen right now. Is this boss that constantly shifts its form as you fight it. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. Is this game going to keep this steam after the fight is over? No. It falls apart. Is this Fat Man Glass, the final boss? Do. Sorry, my rage subsided there for a second because I was thinking about Phantom Hourglass. This game's bad. Chat, it generally pissed me off because this first game was so good, and then the devs just like decided to go down this train of nothing matters in this game, and it just they end up shooting themselves in the face. Because I was desperately, if you watched the last couple of episodes of this game, I was desperately trying to find something to like about it. And I was like, oh, I like this room filled with 100 NPCs of talking mushrooms. That's cool. I really am glad the psychedelic elements in this game have no meaning whatsoever, so it makes it feel like it was made for no reason. But yeah, that's Everhood 2. Don't play it. Well, no, I will say play Everhood 1 and don't play this game. Because this game will make you angry if you like the first game. Oh, the anger train continues. Okay. Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge is fucking awful. It's really bad. Maybe the last two games. Oh, I think Everhood 2 actually deserves to be where it is. But maybe Finding Nemo deserves to be a bit higher than Ninja Gaiden 3. But like, there are elements of this game that are fine. The combat is fine. I actually don't mind the fact that they streamlined the combat in this. But oh boy, I think I found the formula, chat. I think I found the ingredients that Team Ninja do to make awful boss fights. Because every single fight in this game is that. Because the combat is so simple, the devs could just design bosses where you can't even fight them. Every single time you try and hit a boss, they're going to deflect your attack and then attack you. They have hyper armor. They can dodge everything you throw at them. All you can do is wait out one of their moves, and hopefully they don't decide to deflect your attack, and you can actually hit them. There's no bearing on if you know you can actually hit them or not. And this is the Razor's Edge version, chat. This isn't the original game. This is the improved version. Not to mention the abysmal storyline. The storyline in this game is really bad. Like, really bad. Ninja Gaiden 2 didn't even try, for the most part, to have a compelling story. It was just being goofy, and I like that. It reminded me of the classic NES Ninja Gaiden games that were really cringy and weird for no reason, but it was fine. I didn't hate that in Ninja Gaiden 2, or Ninja Gaiden 1 for the most part. I didn't hate those storylines. Ninja Gaiden 3 actually tries, and does it in the most shit way possible. It tries to make you care about the characters. It fails in every way to do that because it would rather focus on fan service and big tits and stuff. The game itself plays terribly. It focuses so much on cinematics. Again, the gameplay is simple and the actual fights against the enemies aren't entirely terrible. But because the game's combo system is so minute and small, you ended up having a miserable time with most weapons in this game. If you just stick to like one weapon, it's fine. But if you don't, then good luck. Good luck, because this game's gonna kick your ass because it doesn't like you. Like, my god, I hope Ninja Gaiden 4 is better than this, because they really did a bad job here. They really did a bad job here. Apparently Team Ninja didn't make Ninja Gaiden 4, apparently that's Platinum. So I'm interested to see what that game is going to be. But no, yeah, don't play this game. Generally don't. If you want to play a Ninja Gaiden game, play Ninja Gaiden 1 and play Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Do not play Ninja Gaiden 3. It is not good. You're going to be angry playing this game. I'm hoping there's going to be like a remake of this that fixed the problems. But even then, the story isn't good, so it's not worth it. Moving on to how high is this compared to the last one? Okay, no, they're around the same. Ninja Gaiden 2, I played this as part of the Flower Suffers series on my channel. Flower Suffers in Ninja Gaiden 2 being the second one in this thing. I don't remember what made this game bad compared to the other two. I felt like I had a better time with this than the other ones, but I'm not entirely too sure. What was bad about Ninja Gaiden? I got the video up. Let me have a look at what I said in the video. But this is worse than the other two. Now, it is worth noting with this to take it with a grain of salt with Ninja Gaiden 2, because I didn't actually play this the way it's meant to be played. I did use the power save states in this game just to experience it all. So I guess you can say I didn't actually play Ninja Gaiden 2, and it should be in the in another category, in the missed category. No, I'm gonna put it on here. I don't mind. I don't care. But let me just see what I thought was bad about this. Oh god, the final boss was the... Oh, okay, maybe it was the final boss. Because it was the one... Yeah, it was the one with the fireball attack. Like, the first game wasn't good. But then, yeah, then the final one, they had like the fucking hell room with all the fire coming out of the wall and the drips. Oh, now I remember. I think what made Ninja Gaiden 2 bad was that it was just like the elements of the first game and the third game, but done in a way where it was just harder. But I don't remember why I put it lower than it was 2. There must have been a reason. Again, this was like literally like 10 months ago, chat, so I don't necessarily remember why I put this here. But wait, didn't I make a... I might have made a backlogged review. Hold on. Did I do a backlogged review of Ninja Gaiden 2? Have a look. Games. Yes, I did. What did I say about it? Did I just rate it? Did I not actually give a review? Oh, Flower. Did you not even give a review for it? I don't know, but yeah, like, I guess maybe I found it more difficult. I did enjoy making the thumbnails for this series though, like having the two little shadow flowers in the background, the red ones, because you get shadow reuse in this game. Right. Moving on to the next game. Ninja Gaiden, okay, well they're not that far away, but apparently this game is 4 points higher than Ninja Gaiden 2, so I must have at least a better time with this game. The thing is, chat, like the NES Ninja Gaiden games, when they came out, were probably really cool. Like art style wise, I think they look fantastic. I remember this game had the seamless transitions into the cutscenes, which I was blown away by for the NES. So I was like, wow, I don't know if I can do this. But like there is like a place for these games in history. I think like having these games as kind of like a standard for NES difficulty was really important. And obviously it shows the core tenets back then of making a video game, where if you make a game harder, people are going to play them longer. And it ends up making the audience like pay more for them, and it gives them more exposure. Like if you make a hard video game that uses less assets, it's going to probably do better than a easy video game that's longer. Which to be fair, Nintendo kind of broke that pattern with Mario, but those games were also quite long, and there were like really hard levels at the end as well with the Mario games, like Super Mario World and Super Mario Bros. 3. But Ninja Gaiden like 1 is just brutal. Enemies spawning on the screen. Like if you step back 1 pixel, already another enemy has spawned on top of you. The biggest killer in this game is not the enemies themselves, but knockback and falling out of the stage. I know Maelstrom, I think, did a speed run for this game. I had to beat it in under an hour. I don't think he achieved it, but he did get to the final boss, I do believe. Because the final boss in this game is not good. But I will say, the one good thing about this game compared to Ninja Gaiden 3 is they at least save your progress on the final boss. If you would be in the first phase, you don't have to do the first phase again. And that is like something that's never been seen before. I feel like at this point, like, oh my god, you actually saved my progress? That is with the knowledge that if you lose all your continues, you do have to restart the game again from scratch. But like, that's just a case of all NES games. It's not fair to hold that against this game in particular, and not other ones. But I will, because I didn't grow up with these games, so I don't care. This game's brutal. This game's gonna kick your ass. I'm a weak little baby man. I grew up with like Game Boy Advance and DS games. Anyway, moving on. Time Spinner. This is another Metroidvania that I played. That I wouldn't really say was bad, necessarily. But it was a bit surface level. And I think the two main things about this game that I liked a lot were the art style and the music. Especially the music. Holy shit, the music is good in this game. It's like, I would say it's on the same level as Castlevania music, which is a pretty nuts proclamation to make, but yeah, it's that good. There are tracks in this game that I find myself humming even today. Art style is also great for what it is. I think the pixel art style is really nice. I know the sequel's coming out soon, so I'll probably play that next year as well. But the main thing holding Time Spinner back is, I think, a weak story that tries too hard and not in a way that I think is good. It's just a little bit confusing. Gameplay is fine. Nothing to write home about, like special-wise. I think that it's just a game that feels a little bit too shortly baked, and I'm hoping the sequel expands a lot more on the mechanics here. There's also a lot of backtracking. Like, despite the fact that you can go between portals, you still need to swap between the past and the future quite a lot. But the idea of having like the same map and just being in the past or the future is cool. I just wish the game made better use of it, because despite the fact there are portals, there's not enough to really feel like that as a core mechanic of the game. Like, imagine like swapping between the worlds and having to solve certain puzzles between the past and the present. Kind of like Oracle of Ages almost. But alas, that was not the case here. I think, like, Metroidvania-wise, this game is neat, and I don't think it's bad, but, like, here's the thing, chat. I don't seek out bad games unless I can help it. Like, I don't want to play bad games, because it's going to make me miserable afterwards. But there is a case, there is a world where I play a game that I think is going to be good, and I'm a little bit disappointed by it, and that's where we kind of are now. I don't think Time Spinners is bad. 65 is not a bad rating for a game, but I don't think it's great either. Shinobi 1, moving on with more Flowers Suffers, the first Shinobi game in preparation for Art of Vengeance. I was quite impressed by, despite Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 and Vengeance Shinobi being quite bad in my opinion, I do think Shinobi 1 was actually quite cool. I like the art style, I like the fact that you can flip between the foreground and the background, and for the most part, because it's quite an early game, I actually think they handled the difficulty quite well. And, like, despite it being brutal in spots still, I had a pretty pleasant time of it. It was short, it was sweet, it was kind of an ideal, brutally difficult arcade game for me, and that's not all I really want to say about it. If you want to see me watch it, similar to Shinobi, Avenger Shinobi and Ninja Gaiden, it is on my YouTube. So it is there. Right. Speaking of early games I played, I've kind of stopped doing this, chat. I've kind of stopped playing games on a whim because I'm interested in how in their quality. I don't really do that anymore, especially towards the end of this year. I just want to play games I think I'm going to enjoy. I played this game because it was free on Steam. Actually, it's Yakuza Moves, not free on Steam. It was free on Game Pass. Yakuza 4? It's Yakuza 4. Yeah, this game was free on Game Pass, chat, and I was like, okay, this little fox guy is adorable. I don't necessarily hate the idea of playing this game, and for the most part, it wasn't bad. I don't think this game is terrible. I think, like, story is really weak. They don't do a whole lot story-wise, surprisingly. Like, for the most part, it feels like an open-world Souls-like game that I actually quite like the look of. Like, you have a full map to explore, and you can kind of go off the beaten trail a little bit. The traversing mechanics are also really cool. The fact you can whip between like these little orbs in the sky to make ground was neat. I just think art style-wise, the game kind of falls apart. It kind of has that, you know, here's our attempt at a fantasy world. It's dreadful and dire, and that's it. The name's bad. The name's really bad. They should just call it Flintlock. I don't know why they needed to add the Siege of Dawn at the end. Just call it Flintlock. Well, then I guess you'd be thinking about Cloudy and the Chance of Meatballs. And now, moving on to the good games. The games that I had a good time with and have a number of criticisms about, but I don't think are necessarily bad. What's this song? Oh, Crypt of the Next Answer. There we go. The good games. Starting with Blessed Burden. I mentioned I played this after Flipside Fights. This is one of those games that came out this year. I don't really have any criticisms for Blessed Burden in the way of like the actual game being bad in spots. It reminds me a lot of the game I played, Law's Law. Lawton's Law that came out I think last year that I played. Like big level where you do platforming to reach the exit. The kind of the plot synopsis is you're like a priest who's gone into hell to stop Satan. It's pretty nuts. The only issue I have with this game, and unfortunately it is a big one, is this game is far too short. This game is only, you can finish this game in 2 hours. And the game's price is fine for that, I don't think. I think the price is fine for the 2-hour experience it is. But, like, imagine a game like this that was far more fleshed out, like Neon White-esque. Like, I'm just craving more Neon White, I think. I just want a game like that again that I think I can get my teeth into. With a decent story about hell. Really cool level design. To be fair, this game's level design is really good. Like, I love that. I love interpretations of hell that aren't just fiery hellscape. Like having a cold level, having this like torture dungeon kind of level, or like old temples that kind of evoke history with hell itself. It is really cool. I think the biggest problem I had at Blessed Burden was the final boss being... No, that was Lawton's Law. Yeah, Lawton's Law was the one with the bad final boss. This is the game with the good final boss. Never mind. I can tell that I'm getting the games confused because that was the one where you have to run away from the boss at the end. This is the one where you just go around a central area and hit a bunch of switches. But no, yeah, also art style was impeccable. I will never get tired of the PS1 art style. Mario in the multiverse. Now, I was pretty tempted to put this in the MISC category, but I felt, considering that I finished it, and also it felt like a fully fledged video game, it didn't make sense to put it there. It's not like a Flipside Fights, where it's a collection of games. This is more so like actual Mario levels. The Mario in the Multiverse is an unofficial Mario ROM hack of Mario 64, which was a collaborative effort to bring in a bunch of other IPs into the Mario world. The gimmick is, every single level gives you a new power-up ability. You use these power-up abilities between the levels to make progress. In a Metroidvania-esque fashion, you need to use these abilities to go between the levels. It is really cool, it's really well handled, and if you want to play it, it's pretty easy to set up as well. Like, it takes things from Doom, from Kirby, Pizza Tower, all that stuff. I think some levels are better than others, which is why I think it's a bit low. I think like the gimmick is really cool, but having to go back into the levels to try and find what ability you need to use can be a bit tiring sometimes. But the actual presentation here and the collaborative effort that was put behind it is really cool, and I highly recommend it if you're interested in playing like a Mario ROM hack that... Like, this is the best of the best, I feel like, with the Mario ROM hacks. It's like having... Well, maybe not the best of the best, but at least in terms of like detailing the skills of these devs. Like, even just seeing the mechanics that they're able to put into this game with like the Doom shotgun that you can go into first-person mode, or the cutter ability from Mario 64. It's neat. It's cool. I recommend. Castlevania Bloodlines. Also at 70 score points. These are like ranked, by the way, so even if they're at 70, if they are higher on the list, that means they are better, in my opinion. It's just that they made sense to be at 70, because 70 I feel like is kind of average scoring for good. So yeah, Castlevania Bloodlines is one of the few Castlevania games that I had left to play. That were from the 2D platforming era. I played Castlevania 3, I played Wonder of Blood, I played all the original ones. And I wanted to play Bloodlines because I knew it was a prequel to Castlevania Portrait of Ruin, which I did end up playing later on in this year. But the thing about Bloodlines that I quite liked... Also, wait, is Portrait of Ruin in my list? I'm just going to check something quickly. I hope I remember to put it in here, because now I'm thinking I didn't. Oh my god, I didn't put it in here. No! I forgot Portrait of Ruin! I did finish that this year too. I had an inkling that it wasn't in this list, and I was like, oh, god damn it. Wow, wow. Well, I'm not changing all the rankings. Let's just say I'll put Portrait of Ruin on the next year's rank list. How about that? I'll remember to put it on the next year and just be like, I forgot about it. I'm sorry. I'll just play a bit more of it next year. Why not? But no. Bloodlines I actually had quite a bit of fun with. I think the art style is good. You can actually watch my stream of this. Again, I forgot to add a little YouTube symbol here, but I did actually play through this game. I think the art style is good. I like the spear character and getting to play around with a kind of different moveset. What's this music? Oh, Dark Crystals from Final Fantasy 3. Such a good piece of music. I thought that the music in Bloodlines was a little bit weak compared to some of the other Castlevania games. It wasn't bad. It was fine. Boss design in this game was really good. I like the Cogwork boy who I fought, who went like from one side of the screen to the other, kind of like that one boss from Mega Man. The demon guy. I think the thing about Bloodlines that kind of holds it back for me is the fact that the main gimmick of this game I didn't even have to deal with, which was if you die and failure continues, you have to replay the entire game again. For some reason, despite this game coming out in 2025? Wait, why does it say 2025 there? I should not say that. I should say 1998. Hold on. There we go. Oh, I really thought of the A at the end. Oh, this is Ace Combat music. I've heard Ace Combat is very good. But no, yeah, the main thing holding this game back is the fact that I found it fine and not that noteworthy outside of going to places across the world. It was a fine video game. Did a decent job. Moving on. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. We're still on 70 right now. I don't have a lot to say about Grand Blue Fantasy outside of the fact I don't think it was a game for me. This is again around the time where I was just playing the games because I wanted to play them. And I was like, oh, look at this cool fantasy game that came out recently. It looks really cool. Oh, I need to know everything about Grand Blue Fantasy to even understand the plot here. You know what it kind of feels like? And I was thinking about this before the episode today, before the stream today, was this game kind of feels like a movie for this series, like an anime movie, where you need to understand the plot to even watch it. And yeah, I don't think I've seen that with a video game where you need to understand stuff that's going on to actually play it. And this is like a sequel to a video game, I guess. Like actually going into this and having to know the series beforehand. Yeah. It was a bit weird, and also the fact that this game had like almost a Pokemon-esque mechanic of collecting heroes and playing as them. There are so many characters you can play as in this game. I think it's kind of nuts how much of this game is just like, it looks amazing. I think the graphics are fantastic in terms of just how it looks. But like, you can tell a lot of that's it from being a mobile game or based on a mobile game. I guess by that logic, it isn't really a far-fetched that that this video game would have story from it, because it's also based on a mobile game. It's not like it's based on an anime or anything. But no, yeah, this game makes the mobile game made a lot of money, so this game, because of that, had very good-looking animations, like nuts. But I liked it. Maybe at some point I'll go through Grand Blue Fantasy and actually understand the lore. But for now, I was just kind of watching this and I was like, these are characters. I don't think the game does a bad job of describing, like telling you who the characters are. But to kind of reach that point of like enjoying the story because of it, you do need to do a lot of reading. And unfortunately, I don't think the game's story was compelling enough for me to want to do that. It was very kind of generic anime storyline. Despite the gameplay being really good and the music also being really good, the storyline wasn't enough to make me care. Which I think for an RPG is required. Ninja Gaiden 3, outside of the Shinobi game we'll talk about in a second, I'm betting, this is probably the best NES Ninja Gaiden game. Mainly because I kind of really vibed with this game's crazy-ass storyline. It was like a science meets, like, dark, demonic magic kind of storyline, and it was nuts! Like, worth noting, if you're going to play this, and I think any NES Ninja Gaiden game, watch out for flashing lights. This game in particular is really bad for that. There's, like, whole cutscenes that are just flashing lights. Like, if you have epilepsy, like, generally be cautious of this game. But this game's, like, subtitle, I think, is, like, Evil Doom Ship of Death? So you know what they're doing here. You know that they're just having fun with this game story, and I'm glad. I think the areas are also really good. I love the final level and how you're like climbing through the ship itself. But there is one bad thing about this game that kind of holds it back, unfortunately, is the final boss. If you die to the final boss, unlike Ninja Gaiden 1, where you do go back to the beginning of the level, in this game, if you die, you have to do the first phase of the final boss again. And let me tell you, this final boss is awful. Generally awful. I think it might be worse than the other two. Outside of maybe Ninja Gaiden 2, which I do think has the worst final boss, maybe. But let me just remember what Ninja Gaiden 3's final boss was. Let's have a look-see. Ninja Gaiden 3. It also was shorter than Ninja Gaiden 2, I remember it being. Oh yeah, it also ended with the iconic line of, "Why do bad people do bad things and then die because of it?" Which just floored me. Right, yeah, it was the wall guy. So you fight the bug monster, you fight the wall guy, and then you fight the giant, like, the wiry robot at the end. Right. That's Ninja Gaiden 3, though. As you can see, there's a lot of Ninja Gaiden on this list. I think I went through basically all Ninja Gaiden games last year. It was a big marathon of them. 57. Bat Boy. Bat Boy is a video game that you play as a boy with a bat. I thought before playing this that you were like an animal bat boy, like kind of like Batman, or like you played as like an anthropomorphic bat person. But no, this is a game where you play as a person with a baseball bat. It's far simpler than that, Flower. Last year I played a game called Shock Circuit? Shock Gravity? I forget what it was called. But it was like a Mega Man style game where you... Gravity Circuit, that was what it was. Gravity Circuit. It's like a Mega Man style game where you beat a bunch of bosses. It was really good, really great reference to Mega Man series. And this year, for my Mega Man enjoyment, I played Bat Boy, which kind of has a lot more to do with Shovel Knight than it does a Mega Man. It kind of holds its Shovel Knight inspirations on its sleeve a little bit, because it has a very similar overworld. It has very similar kind of gameplay and look to it. But I did have a good time with this. I think the biggest sin this game has is unfortunately being a little bit generic. I think that the theming is fine for the most part, but I just don't find the sport analogies that interesting. Because I'm not a sport fan, I'm not going to be into that, I feel. But in terms of style, it was very cool. Although I do think I would have enjoyed the game more if you were like an actual anthropomorphic Batman. I think that would have been cute. Have a bat protagonist in your game, why not? Sword of the Sea. This is from the people who made Journey. I wouldn't know that though, because I was expecting like something crazy from this, considering Journey. I haven't actually played Journey, chat. I haven't played that. I haven't played that other game, like their water one. I forget the name of it, what it's called. But Sword of the Sea, I would describe as very focused on its art style rather than its gameplay. It kind of tells its story without any dialogue, which is fine. A lot of games do that, like Limbo, Little Nightmares, that kind of thing. Very indie style of game design where you allow the environments to tell the story. And I know what these devs are going for. They're going for allowing the environment to completely tell the story as you go along. However, I think with Sword of the Sea, I had difficulties with that, and I can't really describe why. Because I don't necessarily hate a game that tells its story in this way. I just kind of wish, I don't know, that it did more with the idea. Because I think this game is very short, and that's fine. I don't mind a game being short in a lot of aspects. But I guess you're meant to glean that you're saving the world and bringing the water back, but the game doesn't do enough of that for me to really care that much. And I think the vast stretches of you just flying around the desert and restoring points is fine for the first few sections, but as it continues and you're just doing the same thing over and over again, it kind of loses its luster. Now, while I say that, the game is very pretty. It's a very beautiful looking video game, and I think artistically they did a fantastic job of just making it look very good. But I kind of wish there was more to it plot-wise than just you surfing around and then having the inevitable, as you would guess it, indie moment at the end where something bad happens to your character and you have to save it. Maybe it's because it felt very trope-heavy, and the actual world itself was kind of boring. Like, you're turning the desert to sea, and there's also scary monsters in it as well. It kind of feels like a prototype game in some ways, showing like, this is what we can do as devs, but like, knowing these devs made Journey, I'm kind of like, why is this what they did here? But no, I thought the game was fine for the most part. It's very pretty to look at. If you want to play a game for like 4 hours, that is good. For surfing around, don't be too, like, don't get too excited for the actual gameplay itself. It's very rudimentary as you surfing around on like your sword and doing tricks. There are little like curve points you can go to and do more tricks on there. There are collectibles as well. But for the most part, I thought it was fine. I don't think it was anything more than that, really. The Devil Within Satgat, I actually forgot I played this year. I thought I played this last year. The Devil Within Satgat is a Metroidvania, as you would expect. I played a lot of Metroidvanias this year, chat, as you know. But yeah, so I'm trying to find things to say that I haven't already said, and we're already like, we're not even that far through the list. Art style is not good. I don't like the art style in this game. I think it's, for the most part, it's fine, but you can tell it's very cutely made. Just like, oh, this is what we're going with here, are we? Art style wise, okay. The gameplay is good though. There are bosses in this game now really well made, and the combat is also really good. The game kind of falls apart of its final boss though, which is just brutally difficult, as you'd expect from an indie game. But one of the things I actually liked about this game a lot was a mechanic involving the bosses. So after you beat the bosses, you can actually fight them again. And you fight harder variants of them, and they give you more loot. It kind of has almost a Diablo-esque feel to it, similar to Mandragora, But unlike that, with this game, I feel like the kind of direction in terms of the gameplay, and even the story I thought was pretty good, worked a lot better for that mechanic. And yeah, I like the combat, and I think the use of Metroidvania mechanics was better here. It was not very long Metroidvania, it's actually quite short compared to other Metroidvanias I've played. But no, yeah, it was fine. I highly recommend it if you're interested in playing a samurai-esque, or not samurai, a sword-based Metroidvania that came out this year. Escape from Mutation Station. I played this with Tom. Tom did a little event where he invited me to talk about a couple of things and also bring my own game. And I brought Escape from Mutation Station, which is like a little puzzle game set on a space station. We were surprised by how in-depth some of the puzzles were. You basically had to find little objects across the area and then solve the puzzles. There were puzzles in this game that required us to scan barcodes and go to certain websites. And like, working that all out, solving everything and finding all the little intricacies in this like escape room scenario was really cool. And I want to play a game like this again in the future at some point, because I love when games have meta puzzles in them where they require you, assuming it works and doesn't break, where they require you to go outside of the game itself. Final Fantasy 14 music. Do 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 do. No, but yeah, I recommend if you haven't played it before. If you didn't watch me and Tom play it, it is on, I think, Tom's stream. I didn't put it on my YouTube here because it's not on my actual channel, so it would be hard to find. But no, good escape room game. I kind of want to play more of these in the future. Maybe I'll play more escape room games next year. Shinobi 3, the best of the NES Flower Suffer series, I would say, mainly because it doesn't really count. Because this game came out on the Sega Saturn, which is a console that, by that point, they were making actual video games that weren't designed to be brutal CBT torture machines. Yeah, no, this game's great. Like, level design, there are multiple times in this game where I was like, holy shit, this boss is insane. You fight Spider-Man in this game! Like, actual Spider-Man! He looks exactly like him, and he's even got spider attacks. That's the sort of game Shinobi 3 is, chat. Now, I want to remember what the final boss was of this game, because I don't think it was the time boss, but I'm just going to go check. I believe that was Shinobi 3. But Flower Suffers, I don't know if it will come back next year. I think I've got too much on my plate to do it, unfortunately, but what a game. What a video game. Oh, wait, no, yeah, it was the Shadow boss. The Shadow variant boss where you fight him in a little weird, like, retro wave area. It was cool, though. I really had a good time with this, and and some of the level design was also really good as well. But yeah, fighting Spider-Man at the end of a level, holy shit. What an experience. Was this game with Spider-Man in it? I swear it was. Wait, did this game not have Spider-Man in it? No, it did! I'm not going insane! Shinobi, Spider-Man. Oh, it was Revenge of Shinobi! No! I thought it was Shinobi 3! I'm sorry, Shinobi 2. Well, Shinobi 2 is the one with Spider-Man in it. I guess I don't like it enough to put it higher, though. Momodora. Moonlit Farewell. Oh, Momodora. I really wish you were higher. This is one of the more disappointing ones. This is a point where, like, I thought the game was fine, but I was disappointed that it wasn't higher on my list. I love Reverie Under the Moonlight. It's a very small Metroidvania, but it's really effective at what it does. Music is great, kind of style is great. It's just simple and perfect in how it does its execution. And then Moonlit Farewell was like, okay, Metroidvania with more budget this time. What can we do with it? What can we do with Momodora that we haven't done before? Not a lot, to be honest. It just feels like more Reverie, but the thing about Reverie was it was designed to feel small. Moonlit Farewell is a fully fledged Metroidvania, and yet the areas themselves feel fine for the most part. They're not that interesting. They're not that. I think the bosses are fine. The actual design itself is fine, and then it also has the what the fuck? This guy, Lord Lahi. No, Lord Lahal. It's not Lahi. Yeah, the design of the levels here are not as good as Reverie, I feel, again, because I don't think the devs truly utilize the Metroidvania genre in a way where it feels like proper exploration. And then there's the whole thing of this game's story is only really gonna hit you if you've played the other Momodora games, the platformers, which Momodora, I haven't played those games, and yet you've been advertising this game as a standalone, similar to Reverie, but no, you need to know certain things about them to really care about the characters. In a way similar to Grand Blue Fantasy, I feel like the game kind of shoots itself in the foot by it not being just an isolated game and telling its own story. Like, I feel like even Rusted Boss is better at it than this game, which I thought was actually a really good Metroidvania that I played last year. Was it last year or was it the year before? I have no idea. But no, yeah, I was disappointed by Momodora. I know Maelstrom also played it, so I have no idea what he thought of this game, but I thought it was kind of mixed, to be honest. Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales. I might actually play Spider-Man 2 next year, because while I'm not a big Spider-Man fan of the character, I did actually really like the first Spider-Man game. At least gameplay-wise, I thought the story was kind of weak, and a similar thing here with the story. Insomniac Games, like, they're really good at making, you know, an Arkham-style Spider-Man game. Great graphics, and I think Miles Morales kind of was also good in that regard. But, again, story for me was very trope-heavy. I know it's a comic book story, but we can do better. We can do Into the Spider-Verse, remember? I think also Into the Spider-Verse kind of spoiled us for this character. So when they finally made a Miles Morales game, it was like, oh, it's fine, but it could be better. And I have heard good things about Spider-Man 2, so when I get around to that, I might have a higher opinions of the Spider-Man series. But it's fine. It's like a popcorn game where you don't necessarily pay too much attention to the story elements, and you just enjoy what it is. But I did enjoy the Venom mechanics in this game, which I think the name of that is very funny, considering obviously that there's a Marvel character called Venom, but like it is also called Venom for Miles' moves, so it's a little confusing. I'm going to be curious to see what happens with Spider-Man 2, considering they're both called Venom, and that game is all about the symbiotes. But no, yeah, it was fine. I liked it. Some that did good work, and I'm curious to see how their Wolverine game pans out, because that looked really good, and I am a big X-Men fan. Despite not seeing any of the X-Men shows. Blade Chimera. A lot of disappointing Metroidvanias came out that I played this year. I was so ready for Team Ladybug's next game. I love Deedler and Wonder Labyrinth. I think that game is a perfect blend of... you know what? It's similar to Moonlit Farewell. Momodora and this series and Team Ladybug's games, they both have the same issue, where I thought the first game was very simple, but it worked so well, and then their sequel games were kinda mid. I think that this game had not enough going on in it to warrant the kind of length of it. I think the gameplay is fine, a bit rough around the edges, and I kind of wish there was more going on, wish the story did more and was more impactful. But like, yeah, it's just another Metroidvania that kind of doesn't hit the mark for me, I feel. Did I do an episode? Oh yeah, I did do an episode, and there was a quick harvest. I might do a couple more quick harvests next year, because I kind of stopped doing them towards the end of this year, but I want to spend more time on it. Right, that's the 50th game. Fucking hell, it's taking ages. Oh, we'll go on a break when we get to 3 PM. Ninja Gaiden 2, Black. I had a good time in Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. I'll go for the points of criticism first. It has the same issues as Ninja Gaiden 3, where the bosses suck. I feel like Team Ninja really struggle with boss design. They struggle to make them hard in a way that's enjoyable, and not just hard in a way where they keep blocking every single one of your attacks, and then they go into an unblockable grapple. Oh, I didn't even mention that part of Ninja Gaiden 3. If you like grappable moves, or you hate them, you're going to have an absolute blast in Ninja Gaiden 3, because every single boss has them in it, and they always deplete your health to like 1/3. So, yep. Grappable moves are the bane of a good boss fight's existence. In a good boss fight, a grappable should be well choreographed so you can prepare for it. But in Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden 2 and Ninja Gaiden 3, and even Ninja Gaiden 1, they just all have these grappables that suck and tear away your HP. In a FromSoft game, you can press a bunch of buttons to reduce damage, but you can't do that in Ninja Gaiden. It just kind of falls apart, I feel. But yeah, that's Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Criticism-wise, anyway. The City Ransom title screen. Oh. But in terms of like good elements, I would say that I love how unhinged this game is. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and has kind of an arcade-esque feel to the level design and structure. I do miss the open world nature of Ninja Gaiden 1, but I think this game sacrifices that for a good thing, in the sense that every single level is different. Now, Black does actually add new levels with some of the characters in it. I think they were also in Sigma as well. But yeah, let's not even get into the naming conventions of the Ninja Gaiden games, shall we? Because it's really fucking confusing. But basically, Ninja Gaiden 1 came out, and then Black followed it, which was a remake which kind of changed a couple of things, made it easier in spots, but also changed the enemy variety to make it harder in spots as well. And then later on, Sigma came out, and that was also a complete remake of, I think, a couple more chapters with some of the other characters. I think you played as Rachel in the Sigma version, which is what I played. And then in Ninja Gaiden 2, the original came out, obviously, and then there was Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma. They skipped over Black when it first came out, and we just got this remake that apparently made the game worse in some ways. And then finally, this year, they made a full remake of this, which had improved graphics. I think added it had the added levels that were added in Sigma as well. So yeah, that's a bit confusing. That Ninja Gaiden 2's Black came out second, and Ninja Gaiden 1's Black came out first, and then there was a remake of that with Sigma, and then Sigma before Ninja Gaiden 2. But no, yeah, they actually like the level design. The boss designs are also really cool, and I like the fact that we get the Archfiends back in this game, which was a thing that was in the NES games. Moving on to Final Fantasy III. As part of our Final Fantasy marathon, we played through Final Fantasy III. I think, like, conceptually, Final Fantasy III is probably the best NES Final Fantasy game. I like how the characters just kind of stumble upon their powers. They're just like little kids in a cave, and they suddenly become the most important people in the entire world. The game starts on a floating island, and then you go back down to the surface. The notable problems in Final Fantasy III are evident in this game. Luckily, we didn't really have to deal with them because we were playing the Pixel Remaster, which made it easier in spots. But I have heard the horror stories about Final Fantasy III and the Crystal Tower. Mainly because the thing about the original game was, and I think also partly this remake too, is you need to do all of the Crystal Tower and then the World of Darkness afterwards without dying. There's no like save point between that area, and then the final boss just spams one move at you, and that really annoyed me. It annoyed me how the final boss only had one move. I was expecting like as much move as Chaos, but Cloud of Darkness is like a one-trick pony. They just keep using the same thing on you over and over and over again. I guess that makes it easier if you're prepared for it. But I kind of wanted a Zeromus where they use this big bang and then it's like, oh! And then they use a bunch of other moves as well that kind of fuck you up. But no, it is literally just one move over and over again. But music is fantastic. I love the Eureka music that plays when you go beneath the Crystal Tower. I didn't even know that Eureka was from this game, but it kind of makes sense knowing about Eureka Purgos from Final Fantasy 14 now, because that's beneath the Crystal Tower in that game. World of Darkness, the Dark Crystals music is so good, man. And then Crystal Tower itself, excellent fucking music. No, I had a good time with this game. I think mainly because I wasn't thinking too much about difficulty, having played other Final Fantasy games and being ready for that, and grinding adequately. Also having the power save states and quick saves whenever I needed them also really helped out. One reason why I think I put the Ninja Gaiden games on here, because despite, like, you know, not playing those games the intended way, I did play through them, and I had a fun time with them, and I felt like excluding them from the list because of certain, I guess, cheats feels a bit unfair to those games. And quality aside, like, I thought this was good. This was a good Final Fantasy game. I don't think it's one of the better ones, like 4 or 5, but I think for an NES game, it's surprisingly impressive. The Attraction of Evil, Blaze Union. Moving on to Half-Life 1 mod, kind of showing you the list of community-made games that I've played this year. Delta Particles is a Half-Life 1 mod that basically, like, takes you through the events at a different facility during the what's the word I'm looking for? During the event where Zen kind of merges with our world for a bit. There is a word for it. What is the actual reaction called? Like the actual place? I forget. But you play as this other character, and you make your way through a different facility, and then you finally end up in Zen at the end. Very similar to Half-Life 1. It kind of follows the same structure. It doesn't really do anything that different, because why it is a bit low. It just kind of follows the same thing that Half-Life 1 did. But I will say, as a video game, it was still really cool. Getting to see an expanded version of Zen, as always, is a delight to see. Like, I feel like Half-Life 1 is so shit when it comes to... Obviously, it was the first time using Zen, but, like, the alien planet itself was really bad. And ever since then, I feel like the people who have handled Zen have done a far better job with it. Although I will say, in the Black Mesa remake, Zen was a little bit too long, in my opinion. It felt like a whole nother game. But in Delta Particles, it was handled just right, I think. And I had a good time with it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here it is. I don't know how low people expected this to be on the list. But God of War Ragnarok. I went into this excited. Because I was a big fan of God of War 2018. I love the story of Atreus and Kratos, the familial bond between them, and just seeing like Kratos kind of grow as a character was beautiful. And I think that the decision to kind of have it be a joint game between him and Atreus, was wonderful. What went wrong? I seriously want to know. Because I feel like no one talks about this game's story enough in terms of on a critical lens. This game's story is not good. Chat. It's really bad. And I think it's bad in ways that people don't expect. The one thing that holds... The reason why this game's so high is the gameplay. And just the world exploration. I think it's really good. I think it's better than the first game in some ways. But the story... really pissed me off. I think outside of like the Freya stuff and some of the stuff with Kratos, they really missed the mark for me in terms of like expanding upon the lore that was set in God of War 2018. Now I know tackling Ragnarok and all those events was always going to be a difficult thing to do, but the execution of it was all over the place. Why was the Ironwood section so long? I wouldn't necessarily have hated it so much if it had more bearing on the plot, but the main goal of that segment was to introduce the gimmick that Atreus would use at the end of the game to end Ragnarok. Like, the biggest thing I can criticize about this story is that the fact that Ragnarok's final battle is 40 minutes long. 40 minutes long. It's that short. The final battle in God of War 3 is the entire fucking game. I think this wouldn't have happened if there was a third game, but I suspect that Santa Monica were kind of asked to wrap up the story with this game because it was taking too long. But like in that attempt, they did things, chat, that made me so angry. I think the biggest thing that pissed me off outside of Ironwood was the fact that they brought together all the factions off screen. The whole point of all the Alfheim stuff, I feel, was showing each side of the elves, the dark elves being evil in the first game, and then the light elves being evil in the second game, and then bringing them together at the end to help us fight in Ragnarok. That all happens off screen. We don't even fucking see it. Like, we don't get to see Svartalfheim come together. We don't get to see a bunch of things. I generally want to know why this didn't happen, and why there was so much focus on elements that weren't needed to be focused. Like, I agree that Atreus should have been more of a character in this game and a more primary focus. And getting to see the other side of the conflict with Thor, Odin, and all the other people like Heimdall was cool. That was neat. I like that. But it also didn't feel like we were building up to a final fight until suddenly it just appeared at the end. Like, seriously, this game's story is bad. It's really bad. And, like, it should have just been a game where I know trying to avoid warfare is the idea, but they still fight at the end anyway. So what was the point in that storyline if it's just not going to lead anywhere? If Kratos isn't meant to be the god of war, why does he become the god of war at the end? I guess the idea is that, like, he's meant to, the arc is that he can fight just to save people rather than kill them, but, like, we had this arc in the first game where he became a father to Atreus. We didn't need this conflict. Anyway, that's God of War Ragnarok. I hated it. Let's move on. Star Wars Outlaws. I think that's the biggest insult to God of War Ragnarok I could have done, and I'm entirely fine with it. God of War Ragnarok is not a good game, and I like Star Wars Outlaws more, because while the story is very mid, their attempt to make a Star Wars open world game was surprisingly successful. They did the thing that I said they should have done with Survivor, Jedi Survivor, where they only focus on 2 planets, but both planets were interesting. I liked getting to see the planet from Rise of Skywalker, even if I don't like Rise of Skywalker, getting to see that ice planet again was neat. Getting the new planet with the I forget what it's called, was also fun. And I think for the most part, the stealth in this game was surprisingly good after the patches. Like, it is worth noting I played this after the game was patched. So I actually quite liked doing the stealth and running around and shooting the stormtroopers and the droids. It's sad that this game didn't do well, like, receptionally. We probably won't get a new one. This is Final Fantasy 14 music? Oh, it is. It's called Insanity. But, no, it was good. I had a good time with it. It's better than God of War Ragnarok, isn't it? Right. I'm going to go on a small intermission. We are not that far through these games, but considering that the last ranking was, I think, 5 hours long, I don't mind this one also being a bit long as well. So I'll see you guys momentarily after a small intermission. I am back. I got a cup of tea and also a biscuit. Right. Time for the next game. Number 44 is Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. I have a little confession to make here, chat. I didn't actually beat this game. I know it says I know I said I did if it appears in this list, but I got to World 7. So I'm pretty sure that my opinions on this game would not have changed if I finished the 8th world. Maybe it would. Maybe the 8th world was actually like the best world in the game. The main reason I stopped was because I wasn't really getting into the game that much. I thought it was a fine Donkey Kong Country game. Apparently the sequel is a lot better. Apparently Retro did a much better... Oh, sorry. Forever Entertainment did a much better job with the sequel. No, it is Retro who made this game. The same people who made Metroid Prime. For some reason, they weren't brought back for this. Forever Entertainment was, and all credits to Retro making this game were taken out. I don't know if Nintendo hate Retro Studios, but this also happened with Metroid Prime 1 as well, where they were like, and thanks to the entire team at Retro Studios for making this game. It's like, they made this game. Give them the love. Give the original team some love. But no, yeah, it's a fine platformer. Hasn't got that much going for it outside of that. It's just a platforming game where you play as Donkey Kong. I think the bosses are kind of weak. I don't like how they're just like generic, like blue, like I don't know, like generic like Pixar monsters or Disney monsters that you just fight. The game doesn't have a lot of style, unlike I think Tropical Freeze that does. It doesn't have the style that I think the original games had either. Also, not nearly as hard. Clock Tower Rewind. This is one of the Spoopatober games I played this year on stream. The main thing going for this is it was genuinely scary. I was surprised by how scary this game actually was in spots. Like, I thought, considering how old it was and the fact it was like an NES horror game, I was expecting this game to be not that scary at all. That should not say 29th of 2025 for the release date. I should say 2024. It's fine. But no, yeah, generally scary. I think the gameplay is really cool. I was surprised by how short the game was. It was only 2 streams, and just barely that because the second stream was like an hour long. We watched all the other endings. Just the level of detail in the scary stuff, and I actually think the story is quite good as well. I was very impressed by this Clock Tower game, and I'm also impressed by the fact that this spawned Clock Tower 3, a very unhinged video game. Knowing what the series would become, you just kind of gotta laugh. The main thing holding it back is just length. I think it's short, it's sweet, it's fine, but I wouldn't put it any higher because I don't think the gameplay is that good. The puzzles are fine, outside of having to like hunt down every single room. I think the pursuit mechanics are a little bit too simple for my liking. But for the most part, it is a fine video game that I think has a really cool ending and also some surprisingly effective jump scares for a game this old. I think that's the most impressive thing about it, that this game's so scary. Sea of Stars, Foes of the Watchmaker. Now, as someone who did not love Sea of Stars like other people did, because of the story being very poor, I was impressed by the DLC in the fact that it kind of just did the same thing the base game did. Now, I wasn't as annoyed about the story being weak in this as I was in the main game because it's a DLC. The story was fine for the most part. I kind of wish there was more to it, but at the very least, it had some cool bosses in it. I enjoyed the additional mechanics given to the 2 main characters here. And also the new character you get to play as, who's like a combination of like 5 different people in one body, all wrestling for control. I thought that was fun as having a party member. The writing is fine. It is a fine story, and it pisses me off how fine it is. I wish it was more interesting. But the devs seem a lot more interested in like nostalgia and fan service and just making the game streamlined for the most part, and that's fine. I think the art style is nuts in how good it is. And the fact that you get this DLC for free, I really cannot complain about. Like, cool job, Sabotage. Like, cool as hell that you did this. It makes me think of Team Cherry and the fact that they're going to be releasing their new DLC also for free. I'm gonna cry when that comes out because me and I'm gonna have to play Silk Song again. I'm almost done. Anyway, yeah, it was fine. Honk honk, clowns and stuff. And on the entirely different end of, I feel like my reviews for the 75 mark are all going to be very similar, where they were very short, and they were too short for me. Onimusha Warlords is a really good game. I mean, the thing I was most surprised by was the music, and how high quality it was. It's really goddamn good music in this game. Story is nothing to write home about. I did like the fact it was like a history lesson. Kind of like how Neo is about Japanese history. I always like seeing like yokai and demons and kind of getting to see them in these settings. It's a lot of fun. That's why I'm looking forward to Neo 3, because I get to find out more about Japanese history. But Onimusha 1, sorry, is a surprisingly fun game. I enjoy the different elements you get on your sword and how they kind of tie in with the background, and also using the orbs to make your sword more powerful. It makes me excited to play Onimusha 2 and 3, which I have heard are better. And then obviously the new one coming out next year. I'll probably be doing these games as soon as possible. So be ready for when I play those two games. I'm going to guess Onimusha Way of the Sword is gonna come out at some point like fall next year. So we'll see. Did I include Deltarune in this list? No, I didn't, because they're Chapter 3 and 4, and it wouldn't make sense to include them. I should have put it in the MISC category, though, because they did come out this year. Games I forgot about. Castlevania, Portrait of Ruin, and Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4. Considering I put photos of the Watchmaker on here, I would have put it on here, I think. Kirby Triple Deluxe. A game made in the 25th anniversary of Kirby, I believe. Or 20th? No, it was the 20th. No, it was the 20th, I believe. 25th. What anniversary is Kirby Triple... Is it the 30th? No, not 10th anniversary. It was made because it was an anniversary of a game, because it had a King Dedede reference to the original game, where you fight Master Dedede, and it has like a kick-ass boss track in it. This game's really good. I don't think this or Planet Robobot are as good as Return to Dreamland, but I do think both of them are excellent video games. I love a good Kirby game, but I don't think anything's ever going to beat Forgotten Land, because Forgotten Land was so fucking good that I think any other Kirby game that isn't going to be 3D now is not going to be as good as it. It's kind of like when you play Mario Odyssey for the first time, or Mario Galaxy, and you're like, oh, okay, this means this is a new standard for the Mario series, isn't it? But no, what notable thing about Kirby Triple Deluxe do I like? I like the little tarantula lad. He's very adorable, and I'll probably play as him if I play Kirby Air Riders. What is this music? Final Fantasy 15 Crystalline Chill. I fucking hate that name. Mini-Shoot Adventures is a mini-shoot game that I thought was part of a series when I played this. Apparently it's not. Apparently it's a whole new IP. I hope that these devs make another one, because the concept of this game is really cool. It's like a Metroidvania that's top-down, but you play as a little robot ship, and you go through little dungeons to defeat bosses. Very simple in its execution, and I liked it a lot. Because of that, I haven't really got anything else to say about it. Just play it. You shoot as a little guy. It has bullet hell mechanics in it. Play this game. I think it's very cheap right now. In fact, let me find out what the price is for you guys if you want to buy it. Mini-Cube Adventures. I do believe Melton has also played this game. It is currently £9 on Steam. You can save 40% on it right now. Why it isn't higher? I have no reason for it not being higher. I think it's a perfectly fine game and doesn't need to be any higher. Dirge Cerberus. Oh shit. Okay, this is one I'm going to have to explain my point on a bit. Okay, chat. This game is high, right? This game should not be this high on this list. I can already hear the backlash of being like, "Wow, why is this game so high? Why is this game not at the bottom of the? Why is this game not below Everhood 2?" I have a couple of reasons. Number one, I had a lot of fun doing the series of this because I knew what I was getting into. I knew that this game was going to be really stupid and edgy. So I was like, okay, I'm going to edit these episodes so that they're really stupid and edgy. And that was a lot of fun. I got to tap into the edgy side of me. Kind of that like early 2000s, early 2010s Flower when he was trying to be cool. And it was very fun to edit those episodes for this series. I had an absolute blast. Number two, I think considering that remake and rebirth have come out, it kind of makes this game less sour because this isn't the latest Final Fantasy game anymore, Final Fantasy 7 game anymore. We got rebirth and remake. And then point three, it's just a fun video game. I really have no complaints about it in terms of how it presents itself. The story is nonsensical, stupid, dumb, but so is Final Fantasy 7. That game's really dumb. Like, I'm sorry, but like the Sephiroth plotline is not that engaged. It's really stupid. The weapons being in the live stream, like there are parts of Final Fantasy 7 that are really emotional. And that's because, like, even though it's silly, it's still got the emotional moments in it. And while I think that the emotional moments in this game do not work, and they're really dumb, I couldn't stop eating it up. It was like really greasy popcorn. It's like toffee popcorn this game was, chat. I loved it. I loved playing this game. It was so fun. And I thought the gameplay was fine too. It wasn't anything to write home about. It was just shoot. But the insane nature of like the pantheon of villains in this game, you know, Nomura going through his like insanity characters with like sexy lady, big scary man, insanity man. Honestly, like, I want these characters to come back. They're nuts. And I really liked it. I really liked this game, chat. I'm sorry I like Dirge Cerberus. I know I shouldn't, but like I just kind of like a game that's just silly. And I don't think this game's meant to be intentionally silly, but it just was. Story-wise, I think I've played enough Final Fantasy games at this point where I was just like, yeah, who cares? It was good. I think the designs of Vincent's other forms are probably the weakest part of the game for me. Like, I don't like how metallic they look, I guess would be the word I'm looking for. I like his design a lot more in Rebirth. His scary form, his scary beast form. And I can't wait to see what his chaos form looks like in Rebirth, in part 3. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm happy for Matt Mercer again to voice the character in part 3 as well. Right. Moving on. That's my reason. Dirge Cerberus is toffee popcorn. Bionic Bay. Bionic Bay, similar to a lot of other games at this point, is a game that does a good job. I remember Genesis. That is not Rebirth. That is not Dirge. That is Crisis Core, which is a game I hate. Because I don't like how earnest Crisis Core tries to be, despite the fact it doesn't deserve it. Genesis, I think, is in Dirge, but he's right at the end, I'm pretty sure. This is the one with, what's his name? The guy without the shirt. What's his fucking name? I kind of hope they I kind of want that as well, because it would be funny. And I'll play it. I'll be the one defender of Dirge Cerberus. I liked how much they focused on Kate Sith as well. Like they had a lot of reuse in that game, which was fun. And I hate Yuffie, so I'm glad he was in that game too. What am I thinking about? I was trying to work out the name of the guy. What's his name? It's something stupid. I know Nero because I kept calling him Cafe Nero in the game. I forgot what the guy. Weiss. That's his name. Weiss. I quite like the twist that he was actually being mind controlled the entire time by Hojo. I was like, oh, I didn't actually expect that. I thought he was going to be like a big scary guy, but he's actually just ended up being a guy who was being manipulated. That's not the impression I got from interlude intermission in Episode 7 Remake. Right, Bionic Bay. Do you want to play a 2D platformer where you ragdoll and just fly all over the place on giant mechs inside of a giant mechanoid like machine system? Well, Bionic Bay is a game for you. It does that extremely well, and I think it deserves to be at the 37th spot because the platforming is really good. It constantly innovates in itself, and similar to the Valve effect of not telling you how to solve the puzzles and just showing you, it works really well. And plus all the very humorous deaths that occurred in this game. I believe I brought this game to a super show as well at some point last year. Moving on to our next game in the list. Neo 2. I really should have put Neo 2 lower. Thinking about it now, considering my thoughts of this game post-game. I wish I liked Neo 2 more. I do, chat. I wish I liked it more. But unlike Neo 1, which I think was the perfect blend of kind of grounded combat, I think Neo 2 has too much going on in it for me to really get my... Why does it say genre horror? It should say genre Souls-like. Oh well. There's like 100 games in it, chat. There's going to be a couple of mistakes. No, but Neo 2 has a lot going on in it. I can understand why people like it a lot. But I struggled with it immensely because I thought the boss design was really bad. There were bosses in this game that just wrecked your shit with like elemental powers, and because you can't block elemental, unlike another game that's far higher on this list, you can't block elemental damage. You can't deal with elemental damage in this game. It's gonna run away. And the fact that a couple of movesets just become null and void in some fights, it kind of reminds me of Wolong in that way, but at least in Wolong you can parry. I think I like Wolong more because of it, I think. I like the fact that you get to be a big scary yokai. I'm kind of sad that that's not going to be in Neo 3, and instead it's going to be a ninja, which I think is a massive downgrade from being a big scary monster. Although to be fair... Oh god, the Sonic music. No! Okay, there we go. You know what song I'll put on, chat? I'll put on the, I'll put on Mirror from FF14. Hey, I like Crush 40. I don't, so... There you go, chat. Have this music. This is the perfect music I have on why I talk about Neo 2. I'm kind of done. I'm done talking about Neo 2. I'm looking forward to Neo 3 next year, but we'll probably be playing Code Vein 2 first. Ninja Gaiden Sigma, the highest ranked Ninja Gaiden game on this list, and hopefully will be beaten by Ninja Gaiden 4 when I get around to that. I played Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, I played Ninja Gaiden 3 Blazed Edge, and I played Ninja Gaiden Sigma. I played all different variants of the subtitle, I think. I quite enjoyed this game. I was surprised by how much I liked it, but I wouldn't say it's perfect. I wouldn't say any Team Ninja game is perfect on this list that I've played this year, which is quite a lot. The open world mechanics I actually quite enjoyed. The story was nonsensical. It was stupid, but I didn't hate it. Gameplay was good. The bosses in this game actually felt like actual boss fights for the most part, outside of a couple of fights that I felt were really annoying. Enemies were ranged from being mindless fodder to those constantly respawning piranhas who keep grabbing onto you and you can't get away from them. They just destroy your health. Yeah, then fuck those enemies, and fuck that final staircase in that game. What else? I like the giant Ninja Gaiden CD at the end of the game. If you touch it, you get your health back. I think it's just fundamentally all the elements that a Ninja Gaiden game needs to be, but it could also be improved upon, which I'm hoping Ninja Gaiden 4 does. Because I think 2 and 3 subtracted instead of added, unfortunately. But that is why I'm looking forward to Ninja Gaiden 4, because I'm hoping it's going to be more than less. Right, let's turn the Crush 40 music off. And let's... Oh no, it's still fucking playing. Oh, God. I don't want it on while I talk about Silent Hill F. Because this is also pretty low and people are going to be angry about this. It's not low. There's just substantially better games. Like, what's wrong with Crush 40? It's fucking butt rock music. And it makes me question my existence. Sounds like Mishima from Persona 5 singing. Right, music is back on. Right. No, why is it still playing? It was a different song. Good. Silent Hill F. I think I've talked about this game a fair bit when I played it, but since we're doing a ranking, I do need to say a bit about that. I was disappointed. I think that's the what I should say before getting into it. Anything else? I think that there was a lot that I was interested in with this game. Obviously, it being not set in Silent Hill's actual American town was interesting to me. I was curious to see what it would do with that. I wasn't against that idea. And I think everything atmosphere-wise this game does, and script-wise, is fine for the most part. But the main thing holding this back for me is the gameplay, the combat in particular. And I talked about it a lot during the actual game itself. But the combat is really aggravating because they went for this kind of pseudo-Souls-like approach where you have to charge up your attacks, parry, dodge, perfect dodge enemies. And while I think this would work in a game that was more focused around, you know, more physical, vitriol, like horror, like with Dead Space or something, Silent Hill F is about atmosphere, about it being psychological torment. I don't like the idea of being able to play a character who can instant dodge and perfect dodge certain attacks. I think it takes away from the atmosphere that they're trying to build. And so often in this game, I'm just enjoying the environment and how it looks, but I can't because there's an enemy spawning next to me and hitting me in the face. Now, while that occurs in Silent Hill other games, the enemies are dealt with pretty self-explanatory, while in this one, because they are more complex, you can't really do that as much, and thus it kind of feels like more of a chore to deal with enemies. It kind of has that like Silent Hill 2 remake effect, where there are just vast sections in this game that are just fighting, and I don't want to do that in a Silent Hill game. I want to be enjoying your atmosphere and solving your puzzles, and this game has really good puzzles in it, I think. There are other elements that I don't like. I don't like the script. I like the story, I don't like the script. I think they are too on the nose with a lot of elements. I know Silent Hill is a pretty on the nose series, but like the surface level story that most players are going to get isn't that good, and it's going to piss a lot of people off. But when you dig into it and the actual like deeper story elements kind of crop up, that's when the game gets really good. And I'm sad that most people playing this are not going to get to see that because they expect you to beat this game 3 times to see the entire story, and that's not acceptable. I don't like that at all. You should not have to play a game 3 times to see the full extent of the story. That's not on. Not in a game that's not designed to be played 3 times. I know people say that you get different cutscene structures and different story events differently if you replay the game. That's not enough to warrant an entire replay through where the puzzles are going to be the same, the combat's going to be the same. It's just going to be the game again, but the atmosphere is not going to work the second and third times because you've already played it. So it doesn't work for me, in my opinion, fortunately. Hand time music. I'm hoping that they take the criticism from Silent Hill F and make a better game in the next one. I don't hate it. I don't hate this game like I do Homecoming or Downpour, but I just wish there was more to it. So this is one of those exceptions I mentioned at the beginning of the stream when it comes to like a game that is ongoing that I haven't finished. Night Rain. I haven't had a chance to check out the current content because I've been busy with other games, like Shells in the Sky, for example. But I've heard all the good talk about it, and I have played a fair bit of it with some people in the community as well. it is just a really damn good Souls-like and a roguelike. And while I'm not a big fan of roguelikes, the way this game does it is really cool. And FromSoft have again shown that they can just pump out a good game no matter the genre. So I'm hoping we get to see more of that in the future with Dustbloods. That I don't know what they're going to do with Dustbloods, but I am curious all the same. And where Portrait of Ruin might have been on the list, we now have Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, which is the first DS Castlevania game, and I played it as part of the Dominus collection, which is basically a collection of the 3DS Castlevania games, kind of given a couple of upgrades, and you also get the map as a separate screen to the right, which is really cool for these 3 games. I thought Dawn of Sorrow was a bit underwhelming after Aria of Sorrow. I think Aria of Sorrow is a really fucking good game after you get to the end of it and you get to see the full extent of the story and the gameplay and the bosses. Like, that fight against Julius Belmont is fucking incredible in the Aria of Sorrow, but Dawn of Sorrow doesn't really have that, and I think the story is really weak compared to Aria. It's meant to be, Dawn of Sorrow DS, that is correct, that's why it's called this game. I think despite the fact that this is meant to be the continuation of some of the storyline, it doesn't really do a whole lot to continue his storyline. Music is great, as usual. First level music is fantastic. I love the ice theme that the first level has. I don't think we've had that before in a Castlevania game. And, like, the usual orpism is good. I don't think this game's bad, I just wish there was more to it. And I wish the story was better, despite how good the first game's story was. Also, they didn't call this guy here Alucard, which is annoying to me. Metroid Prime 2. Echoes, 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 echoes. Metroid Prime 2. As Geppo just said, a lot of backtracking. I am not a big fan of this. I have heard this game's praises bang out in the Metroidvania scene so often, and I have to be a contrarian here. Not something I like to be, but something I do have to be in this case. I don't understand the appeal in it, man. Like, this game's biggest gimmick is going between light ether and dark ether, and going to an area that is the same as the first area, just with a different color of paint, and, like, certain new mechanics inside of it. And the 3 areas they go with, while the final one is really cool, the first 2 are really boring. Like, you have this waste area, there's this, like, barren wasteland, and then you got a bog. Like, you're a Metroidvania. Make your areas more cool looking. What happened to Magmore Caverns or Fort Fungiana Drifts? The complaints I hear about Metroid Prime 4 apparently do not extend to this game, where they made the same mistake, I feel. Like, despite this game being so open for your exploration, you still fall into the trap of it being boring and nothing really going on. At least there's something going on in Metroid Prime 4. This game isn't that far away from Metroid Prime 4 in terms of quality, I will say, though. I don't think this game's terrible. I love the music. I love the final fight against Dark Samus. The final area, before the final boss, is really cool. Like, the high-tech, like, Vespin city you go to. Like, why were they hiding that at the end of the game? Why aren't all the areas that good? The bosses in this game are the best in the series. Especially the Spider Ball boss, and then immediately followed by the Colossus boss. It's so good. Doom, the Dark Ages. Speaking of disappointing sequels, the Doom, the Dark Ages is a sequel to Doom Eternal, in the sense it is not a sequel at all. It is a prequel, in the sense that it's not a prequel at all. It is telling an entirely different story. This game didn't sell well either, thanks to Game Pass. I'm not really surprised, to be honest. Well, I am, because I kind of want it to do well. But the thing is about Doom the Dark Ages is that I think the style of it is cool. Kind of that medieval kind of Doom setting, kind of Quake-esque. The story, similar to Ninja Gaiden 3, they try to have a story here. It fails. Why are we telling a serious Warhammer-esque narrative in a game in a power fantasy game where you're meant to be rushing through demons? I don't want to be ending a level with subpar storytelling and dialogue. If you're gonna tell a story, do what Eternal did and make it part of just the flow of the moment, because the tonal whiplash of it is nuts. And the game has nothing to say either. Like, if it had something to say about the Doomslayer, it would have been fine, but all it does is be like, oh, we're angry and we fight the Prince of Demons, I guess. I don't hate the Prince of Demons. I've always design was cool, and I like the final boss of him. I like the fact that the final level isn't even like dramatic. It's just a Doom level, and you're getting like redemption. That's great. The shield is good. I don't mind the shield. I don't mind the changes they made to the combat for the most part here. But the biggest issue I have with Doom: The Dark Ages is the fact that I think taking away the gimmicks from the monsters kind of makes it a bit boring combat-wise, because you can just stick to one weapon and just deal with the enemies. You don't have to change. I know you'll be like, but Flower, just change weapons. There's no incentive to. I don't feel like I need to, because the game gives you plenty of ammo because of how the ammo system works in this. I can just stick to one weapon and that is all it needs. Changing to a different gun isn't flashy enough because it doesn't have the same impact that Eternal's weaponry did. I think it's also worth noting that, like, that problem doesn't go with the original Dooms because each weapon served the purpose. In this game, the weapons are so varied, but like their variety is not required. You don't need to have this weapon. It's just a flavor, basically. And the fact that the weapons are flavor in this game pisses me off. Because for a power fantasy to work, you're meant to feel like you're achieving something. And if I'm not achieving something with the weapons that I have, then why do we even have it in the first place? You might as well just give me the super shotgun and the shield in this game, and that should have just been it. What else? The Dragon second sections are fine. I like how it is hybridized with the like regular gameplay, so I don't hate those segments. But I do hate the Titan segments. What a waste of good quality budget just to have segments that feel less satisfying than actually playing the game normally. If I'm in a Titan segment, I should be having as much fun as I am having when I run around shooting and throw at my shield. I am not. It's not occurring because you have really slow punches that while they look cool, you get the same level of gore from just fighting the enemies regularly, if not more so. So why did they make this decision? id, I love you. I'm glad you're trying different things, but maybe we harken a bit more back to what Doom is? And the thing is, like, the criticism I heard about this game when it came out, one of the positives was that this game feels more like traditional Doom. How? I don't know what is traditional Doom about this. The arenas are massive. Like, the battlefields are cool, I guess, but, like, they feel expansive in the sense that you get collectibles and things that don't really mean anything for the overall kind of combat flow. Like, I don't want the 50,000 menus that Doom Eternal had. I thought that was actually one of the main criticisms I have for that game, was that there was, like, 50 different UI, like, HUD menus for different, like, runes, special abilities. But, man, I miss Eternal. I miss it. I want it back. I want Eternal. I don't know, maybe the DLC will be better, but we'll see. Axiom Verge 2. Speaking of disappointing sequels, actually, no, that's a lie. Axiom Verge 2, I think I actually like more than Axiom Verge 1. I know. Shock and horror. Axiom Verge 2... Where did I put Axiom Verge 1 on my 2024 ranking? The music right now is very Axiom Verge. Thought it was for a second there. It had a 2 at the end, but it's not. Axiom Verge 2, I like a lot for its decision making to make the world feel alive. Because similar to Axiom Verge 1, where it feels like you're exploring an alien planet, this one has a very similar vibe, and I like the fact they went for a entirely different, like, distinct alien planet like look here, where you have a lot more surface stuff, the kind of the clouded, almost like Egyptian design to everything is really good. There's plenty of plot twists similar to the first game where you go through like physical transformations. Yeah, it's a bit higher than Axiom Verge 1. Although, like, this is 29th, and I was 24th in last year's ranking, so it kind of gives you an idea of how much better the games I played this year were. No, but, like, I love how there's this whole other world using the probe. I know people don't like the probe mechanic, but I really do. I love how you like, need to navigate that other world to understand where certain little collectibles are. Like, the actual world itself feels so alive and vibrant. The story is not great, but neither was the first game's story, to be fair. I just enjoy like exploring an alien planet and kind of learning more about it as I go along. It's very Outer Wilds-esque, like a 2D Outer Wilds. And again, the Metroid mechanics are good here. The complaint that this game doesn't have boss fights in it, I don't understand, because like you don't need a boss fights in a video game. If it doesn't feel like it makes sense, then don't put them in. But no, I did enjoy Axiom Verge 2 quite a lot. And now we're on to booping. I'm going to have a small biscuit break while I just finish off what I was eating before heading into booping. This is the green category. Ended up being higher this year than last year's. Okay. Heading on to the booping category. With 28th, The Quarry. I like supermassive games. I like stupid storylines. As you may see from Dirge Cerberus, I enjoy a good stupid story. And while this game doesn't reach the heights I think Until Dawn does, I still quite like it a bit. I think this game has far more compelling characters in it than Until Dawn is definitely the big thing. I think Supermassive actually hit a pretty, like, they did a pretty good job with characterization in this game for the most part. I actually liked all the core characters. I didn't want them to die, so I saved them as many as I could. It's kind of hard to talk about this game in terms of like talk about this game a lot in terms of spoilers. So I'm going to do a big spoiler now. If you don't want to see it, wait until the next game, which I'll go on to in a second. So the game's monsters are werewolves. Which I don't think they've done before. I think that they did vampires in House of Ashes, and then they did Wendigos in Until Dawn. But like I was very excited for that because I like werewolves a lot in terms of fantasy media. So I was like, okay, what are they gonna do with it? And they tied it really well into the gameplay in this. I wish there was more to do with it. But like the fact that you had to be careful about who you were playing in the sense of the combat. I kind of wish they did more of that as well, because like the mystery behind it and finding out about that there are wells in this game is really well done, I think. And it felt very cheesy 1980s. I think a lot of the criticisms concerning Supermassive Games stories, they need to understand that Supermassive purposely do those tropes because that's the audience, that's the target audience they're going for, is that kind of 90s, 80s style horror. And I think this does a better job than that than Until Dawn, because they have like these really cute little videos of the camp. I am a big sucker for 80s horror. I love the Friday the 13th movies. I love the Halloween movies. So I was like, yeah, give me some cheesy horror. And also Brenda Song is in this game, so you can't go wrong with that. But no, yeah, great game. It does kind of fall apart towards the end, I will say. I think you can definitely tell this was a game hit by COVID, because the latter half just kind of goes away. Sam Raimi's in this game, I believe. Also, Dewey is also in this game from Scream, which was cool. David Arquette, yeah, he's in this game too. Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater. Bow, 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 bow. This game is a bit lower than where I would put Metal Gear Solid 3. Mainly because I've already played it, so my judgment is going to be based on that. Biggest sin this game commits is the fact that the intro fucking spoils the entire game. If you're if you're playing Metal Gear Solid Delta, do not watch the intro, because you'll get spoiled about everything. It spoils the final boss in it. But I forgot how dumb this game is in terms of dialogue, which sucks because I love the game. It's one of the few Metal Gear games that actually made me sad at the end. I was like, oh. It got me emotionally. It got me right in the gut punch. But no, it's just Metal Gear Solid, but just really cool looking. Really, really cool looking. Yeah, there you go. That's like that should be a quote on the box. Really cool looking. We've done a lot of reviews at this point, chat. What's this music? Din Don Dan Dan. Ragnarok Online 2. That's a hell of a name. But I have nothing else really to say about Metal Gear Solid Delta. Play it yourself, chat. It's a great... you get to play as Big Boss. There's stealth in it. The boss is played by... what's her name? From SpongeBob. The hamster character. And that was really funny to me. Kirby Planet Robobot 26th. Better than Kirby Should Have Looked. Again, I don't like it as much as Return to Dreamland. But this game is unhinged. I think this is the craziest a Kirby game gets in terms of story. Outside of maybe... Forgotten Land has like the Roche limit at the end of it and two worlds colliding. Which is pretty Evangelion-esque, I will say. But also, this game is pretty fucking nuts story-wise at the end. I loved it. Before that, it's fine. But I will say the final area kind of brings this game up a fair bit in terms of style. Also, just a damn good 2D platformer. I love the mech mechanics. I love the fact that mech is more, like, in-depth than the Kirby Triple Deluxe mechanic of it, like, the sucking mechanic in that game. In Kirby Triple Deluxe, chat, you play a character who sucks a lot more than usual. And in this game, you get a little mech, and you get to ride it around, and actually, you get to assimilate your power-ups, like in like how Kirby does. So you can have cutter, sword, all that stuff. It's very fun. Oh boy, Kazam, the first Berserker. I wish this game did better. Chat, I really wish this game did better with like commercially and through sales, because the game itself is really good. And is this the highest Souls-like I ranked this year? It might be. I can't think of other Souls-like I played this year. I played a lot last year. But I think that the first... If you haven't played it, for starters, it is Souls-like. It has it has a parry mechanic, just as you do these days in Souls-likes. But the main thing this game has going for it is the incredible boss design. While I think the levels and enemies themselves get a bit boring after a while, I always look forward to the bosses in this game because they are just exceptional. There are a couple that are really annoying, but as for the most part, I think this game has some of the best boss design I've ever seen in a Souls-like, which is nuts considering I think Liza P has the opposite problem, where I think the actual running around is really good, but the bosses themselves are kind of mid. The final boss in this game fucking destroyed me, but like I couldn't get enough of it. It was so well done. I can't think of other fights in this game. I can't think of anything else really to praise this game for. I hope that the devs did well enough to warrant them being able to do a sequel, because it was very good. It's also the main character's voiced by Ben Starr, so there's that too. Ben Starr was in this game. Suikoden 1, the remake that came out recently. I might do Suikoden 2 next year. It was in a couple of games this year. Yeah, one that may appear very soon. Suikoden is made by Konami. Konami have been doing a good job recently of remaking their games and also making new games for their series like Silent Hill. Hopefully they come to Castlevania soon as well. Well, they're doing the ports. They did Dominus Collection recently. Suikoden is a game I was surprised by how much I liked. Similar to Trails in the Sky, I haven't played that many RPGs outside of Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, all Xenoblade. So I was quite surprised by how much I enjoyed the flow of the gameplay here. All the characters getting given their own thing to do. Like the idea of building, like I love running around, like grabbing new characters and recruiting them to our rebel faction. The gameplay was really good too. I think like the recruitment mechanic is what really makes the game for me though. Music is great. It plays really well. Story is fine, but again, I think the recruitment is what works so well here. It's like Chrono Cross, but good. It's like Chrono Cross if the recruitment system is actually fun to do. And actually building at your base and seeing all the characters come there is really nice. And the fact that you can choose your own party, for the most part, until there are points in the game where they force you to play with certain characters. And in those sections, I'm just like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Suikoden. Donkey Kong Bonanza. This game's not, it's not low. Chat, we're in the 82 category. That's pretty fucking high. This is where I would have put, if we're going by last year's standards, this is where I would have put games like Silent Hill Short Message. That's a good one to put in there. Donkey Kong Bonanza is a video game. And that's it. It's a video game, chat. I'm struggling with Nintendo right now. Is it worth getting a new console for? I don't know. Because the thing is, Nintendo, I'm kind of worried with their trajectory right now in terms of how they're doing their flagship games. Because they all feel like they're doing the same thing with them. And that is going for a sandbox-esque environment and adding some central gimmick to it. Like Zelda, obviously Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, central gimmicks are tied around the runes you get from the Sheikah's shrines and the Zonai shrines in Tears. Echoes of Wisdom, another Zelda game, is designed around copying furniture and building it across the world in a 2D setting. Metroid Prime 4 with the desert, and also Donkey Kong Bonanza with its destruction mechanic. And I think the destruction mechanic is really well done. And the Odyssey team did a fantastic job here. The final part of this game, despite not being a Donkey Kong Country fan that much, I was very pleasantly surprised by how the game ended. But I think similar to the other sandbox games, it falls into the issue of, while it is fun, it does get a bit boring after a while because you're doing the same thing in every single area for the most part. There's not that much variety outside that. The game does innovate on itself quite a bit in terms of the power-ups, which is fun. I don't know why this game has an RPG leveling system, but I love it. The fact that I can use my bananas of something that Odyssey didn't do, like, really amplified the game for me. While I think Odyssey is a better game, still, I think Odyssey is fantastic and I want more Odyssey. I do like Donkey Kong Bonanza a lot, and I think the best part of this game is the fact that they had the singer for Pauline sing during the Game Awards. People said their voice acting is a bit air. I mean, their voice acting only comes from Pauline, so I don't really know what people were saying then. I did saying Pauline's voice acting was bad because I thought it was fine. I also wonder if the devs saw Wreck-It Ralph. On the other end of, like, the fucking other universe of tone, Chronos: The New Dawn is Bloober's latest horror game that they made this year. It feels like a homage to Dead Space in a lot of ways. I fucking loved it. There were problems with Chronos, I guess, conceptually, in spots. There are issues that this game has because people don't stay by it as the game builds itself. It's very easy to criticize the first hour of the game because it doesn't do anything. But as you continue playing it, I hope people realize how well made this is, because I really enjoyed a lot of the elements of this game. It's surprisingly a brave horror game, because one of the criticisms I saw for this game is that the inventory system isn't good. I disagree. I think the inventory system is really good, because it limits what you can carry, very similar to Resident Evil 1, and you have to run around and basically decide what you need to bring with you, like a survival horror game should be. And even after getting inventory space, you're still limited as to what you can carry. And I think that's good. I think a game forcing you to have to think about what you hold in your inventory is great. And Bloober obviously using this opportunity to do better, like, combat is also a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the combat in this game. The flame system and having to keep the monsters dead on the ground The story as well presents itself really neatly. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing crazy like with Silent Hill 2 Remake, obviously, but they didn't make that story. I thought it was cute. I thought it was a nice little horror story that wasn't trying to be anything too crazy, and I'm hoping that Bloober... This did pretty well, I'm pretty sure, as well. I'm hoping that Bloober continue to do the good work of Silent Hill 1 Remake next year. Heartworm. Another Spoopy Turbo game we played this year. Heartworm is very Silent Hill 1 coded, in the sense that like it has a very similar vibe and is very much inspired by Silent Hill and also Resident Evil to a certain extent. I was worried when I did the first stream of this chat. If you remember, we're going to see a lot of October games in 2020. Yep. They were really good. I chose a good selection this year. I was worried because the combat was scarily bad with the camera. I was like, oh god, the camera's really bad in this game. Not the cameras in like the angles, like the cameras in the weapon you use. You use a camera as a weapon. That sounded really confusing, but no, you use a camera as a weapon in this game. But then I picked up an item that allowed me to take 3 shots at once, and then the game became a lot more fun. Because then I can actually kill enemies pretty reasonably quick. The puzzles are really good as it went along. I love the final area, the giant clock tower, and how reminiscent it is of Resident Evil in terms of how intricate it is, in terms of how intricate the design is. The story is really sweet. They got Susie the Sphere Hunter to voice the character because of course they did. She's a massive survival horror fan. I love how the camera... I kind of missed the fact that the camera wasn't used to light up areas after a certain point. Like, the second area you go to in this game is a literal forest. That's like outside. Is it the Horror Game Awards? I haven't seen that yet. I need to watch it. Maybe I'll put it on when I'm doing Charles in the Sky this evening. Pampus and Celine. And Celine, as I should say. Me and Maelstrom played through this in November. It was a joint stream we both did. Maelstrom brought it up and was like, hey Flower, do you want to play a co-op Metroidvania? And I was like, fuck yes. And we both played this over 3 weeks. It was very silly. It was very fun. However, we both kind of realized after a certain point that we didn't think that this game was made with a multiplayer focus in mind. We think it was probably made as a single player game first, and then the devs were like, oh, we can make this multiplayer. And thus, Pampus and Celine became the game. I feel like they wanted to make it Portrait of Ruin-esque, where you can switch between the characters on a fly as a single player. But then they realized they could have 2 players instead, playing each role. And the issue with that is they didn't change the game to suit that. Because there are bosses in this game which you can't dodge as Celine because you don't have double jump. So yeah, that was fun to deal with. Me and Maelstrom just getting wrecked by mechanics. I mean, there was literally a mechanic during the fight on a boss, which Maelstrom couldn't dodge because he didn't have Blink, which I had. But no, in terms of how it presented itself, it was really cool. And I think the main thing making it so high was how fun it was. We had an absolute blast playing this. And I enjoyed being the friendly fire person. Speaking of just insanely fun video games, Deedler and Wonder Labyrinth, Record of Lotus War. Quite a wordy name, I know. But Team Ladybug, like, they knocked it out of the park in their first attempt at a game. This is like based on a manga, I'm pretty sure. Record of Lotus War. Basically, Metroidvania that is very simple, in like a Reverie Under the Moonlight kind of way. Has a very simple mechanic of switching between the wind and fire, I think. And that's it. That's the whole game. The bosses are really well made. Very Castlevania-esque, where you have different weapons as you go along. Just an excellent video game that doesn't necessarily try to be anything too crazy. And because it's a Metroidvania, it's going to be pretty damn high in this list. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. I said that Ninja Gaiden 1 was the highest. That was a lie. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is the highest. I forgot I played this game. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. This is like Dragon 4 music. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is really well made. I remember sitting it on my first playthrough, and I was on my playthrough, and I was like, "This is going to be a great speedrunning game." The fact that you can chain enemies up with your combos, and then when you eventually get the powers of both, when you get both characters' powers, just plowing through the enemies of certain movesets is so satisfying. The bosses are great too. The game isn't too hard like the NES Ninja Gaiden games can be. I like the fact that the story doesn't also try to just be a reference to the other games. It does its own thing instead. The Game Kitchen, blasphemous devs, knocked it out of the park. Please give these devs a Castlevania game. Konami, give it to them. They would knock it out of the park. Like, Blasphemous 1 and 2 are fantastic games. Come on, do it. Do it now. Oh, one more thing. Music is great. There's a song in this game. There's a song from the original Ninja Gaiden, and it kicks ass. Metroid Prime 4. I wonder if this is a little bit too high, but I do like it more than Metroid Prime 2. I think I've talked a bit about this in my recent review, but I will basically mention a criticism first. I think that the things that everyone is saying are correct. I think Soul Valley is too big, too broad, and it doesn't have its place in this game. I don't like it a lot. I don't like the crystal hunt either. I think it's satisfying picking up the crystals, but the fact that you can't pick up all the crystals in one volley of your bike is insane. I think that the linearity of the levels is a little bit disappointing as well. I think the game makes up for it in how it presents these levels for the most part, and how much little shortcuts they have for these segments. And then obviously the NPCs and the characters was a really strange decision. And the fact that you have to like babysit them is also weird to me. I don't know why they did that. And apparently recent interviews have implied that they didn't have much choice over this and Nintendo made them do it. But like, I don't know how much of that is believable. I feel like Nintendo wouldn't have that much say over this. I'm hoping Retro will realize this with Ninja Gaiden 4, Metroid Prime 4, and then we'll get Metroid Prime 5, and it will be even better, or it could be worse, and it could just be more. This could be other M. Metroid Prime 5, other M. That's it. In terms of positives, music, excellent. Gameplay, really good. The best a 3D Metro game has ever felt, I think, in terms of the morph ball as well, and the spider ball mechanics. I like the axolotl race. They're really cool, and I like the designs. The world itself is neat. I just wish it wasn't a desert in the middle of this place. And now moving on to our next thing. Compared to Metroid Dread, Metroid Dread is leagues better than this. I don't know if I did Metroid Dread. I don't think Metroid Dread was in a ranking I've done. Miside. Speaking of adorable games, this game was really adorable, with no horror in it whatsoever. I think Miside has the pro of just being a damn good game that is just filled with quality of life. It reminds me a lot of Spooky's House of Jump Scares in terms of how much quality there is in here. You can tell the devs constantly update it and add new things. The idea of the story where you're like inside of a phone and talking to every single different version of Miside is cute. I love the different gimmicks. It feels like a love letter or mobile phone games in a way that's done really well. I don't have anything else to say about it. I think the horror is also really well done. It scared me in a couple of spots. Yeah, just a damn good video game. I kind of wish the ending was a little bit better, but outside of that, it was good. Speaking of adorable anime-esque video games, this game isn't really that. It just has an anime character, I guess, in the front of it just to make you play the game. But AI Limit is actually, I think it is the highest Souls-like on this list. I know I keep saying that, but it is the highest Souls-like. I think it's higher than Kazam. Let me just check, just so I'm not lying. I am not lying. This is the highest Souls-like on this list. AI Limit is really good. It's not like doing anything too crazy location-wise, but what the game does really well is the combat. I really like the limit gauge and how you can put different limit gauges on to kind of change your posture meter and how it works. Boss design is surprisingly good outside of the final boss, which I want to talk about here. Just a damn cool video game that I really enjoy playing, and I think it's higher quality than Kazam, because unlike Kazam that's like level-based, like Neo, this world feels alive and you get to explore it as you go. It's kind of Code Vein-esque, but also if it was better. Right. Phoenix Wright. Ace Attorney. Objection! This game's too low! I think this game will appear on the list next year, chat, I think. As you can see here with the little smiley face, I plan on returning to this game. Oh, my bitrate just dropped down to 800. Bitrate? Fix the shit. I need to turn my heater off actually, so I'll use this moment to turn my heater off. Give me a second, chat. I am back. No, yeah, Ace Attorney is a really good game. I loved doing my rants on the streams about this, like digging deep into the mysteries. The characters are great, obviously. I love the caricatures and the little jokes they have as the story goes on. The subversions, well, they got a little bit too silly towards the end in some spots and just constantly doing the same thing. I did actually like how the story presented itself. Edgeworth is great. Phoenix is great. Maya and Mia Fey are also wonderful. Like, you can see how this spawned a franchise because it's such a unique set of, like, ideas, and they can do so much with it. And I can't wait to play more of this next year. We'll definitely get around to more Phoenix Wright games next year if I have time for it. But yeah, this game took 5 months to make. Oh, you know, yeah, it did, didn't it? It was a very quick game they put together. It was very impressive. But we'll get to we'll see this again next year when I add Case 5 to it. It might go higher than this next year. Metroid Prime 3. Oh, this might be a bit of a controversial one. A smidge, perhaps. A little smidge. Metroid Prime 3 being higher than Metroid Prime 2 and 4. While 4 might not be controversial, I really liked... I think this game was the perfect mix of story with gameplay. I don't hate Metroidvanias that are more linear. I actually don't hate them at all. And knowing, you know, how many Metroidvania games I have played this year, I feel like in terms of how this game presents itself, I like the Bounty Hunter characters a lot. The music is exceptional. I think this is the best Metroid soundtrack I've heard, maybe. Like in terms of boss themes at the very least. The biggest downside to this game is the ending. This game just ending really weak. Like, why does a Metroid game end with your weapon and with your weapons becoming scripted? Like, and all those energy tanks. Wonders was cool. Yeah, Wonders was great. I don't know if that was a pun by you saying Wonders was cool. I like Gaidrado as well. He was neat. The characters were really fun in this game compared to Metroid Prime 4, and I kind of wish they just did that again with Metroid Prime 4. I don't know why we had to have really boring Marines for that game instead of like really cool design aliens. The series has them. None of the series doesn't have them. But no, yeah, I don't hate linearity in this game, which other people do. I like the planets a lot. I liked Pirate Homeland and the acid rain that kept coming down. I like Brio, Elysia, the beautiful kind of Vespin-esque sky city. I mean, Jesus Christ, this game has some of the most gorgeous areas. And then people are like, Metroid Prime 2 is great. It's got a bug in it. got boring-ass bog, it's got a waste area. The coolest thing Metroid Prime 2 has going for is that Citadel at the end, and Metroid Prime 3 does it better. I actually won't say that. I think Metroid Prime 2 has a better Citadel at the end. Blueprints. Speaking of great roguelike indie games, I wouldn't really call it as a roguelike in a sense like other roguelikes. It's very much more so a puzzle game, which resets itself. I played this quite early into the year, so I don't really have that much to say about it necessarily, but I found out about this through Dry Bomb. I think Maelstrom played it a bit as well. I think he played it during a Super Show. The idea of a roguelike puzzle game like this is really cool. I'm hoping these devs make another cool game after this. Just like the presentation of a story set in like these rooms and having like levels of puzzles that you can uncover if you choose to. And I really appreciate this game having an ending if you choose to go for the door at the end of the complex. But there are deeper layers to this. It's kind of like Animal Well in some ways, where there are so many layers to the puzzles here, and such a complex, tightly interwoven story where I love it. And it feels bad that this sort of game won't be more greatly appreciated in terms of the indie scene, because it's not an overarching genre for a lot of people. People don't necessarily play roguelike puzzle games, but check it out, chat. It's excellent. Like, maybe for 5 minutes if you like it, and if you don't, then don't play it more. But if you do, check it out, chat. It's really good. As a roguelike person, as a person who hates roguelikes, that coming from me should mean something. And then the next one, Mario Kart World. Is this too high? I don't feel. Wait, is that 86? Not 85. Okay. I don't think this is too high, chat. I think that this is a perfect place for this, because in terms of Mario Kart games, I haven't played Mario Kart 8 that much, and getting to experience Mario Kart World in this kind of open world-esque style, very Xenoblade-esque. I know they were actually helped by the Xenoblade devs making this game. I loved how this game was presented. I think it was really cool. Music is excellent. It has some of the best stages, I think, out of any Mario Kart game. Highly recommend, if you want to get a Switch 2, get the Mario Kart World bundle, if it's still around, that is, of course. I don't know if it might have ended by now. It's good. It's a good video game that I like the gameplay of a lot. I know people don't actually like the very down-to-earth drifting mechanics. I preferred Crossworlds. I don't know, because I haven't played Crossworlds, but does Crossworlds have 48 tracks? I don't think so. I actually don't know if Mario Kart World has 48 tracks. Is this Talon 4 for Metroid Prime? Yeah, it is. And that's the perfect segue into the best of the best. I should say best of the best. The top 10, chat. The cream of the crop. The cornucopia. The top 10. 10. Number 10. We haven't seen the other Ben start. It might not even be on this list. Maybe I forgot about it. Number 10. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. I don't think I've talked about this game at all on stream, because I've been, I don't really talk about what I don't play, I guess, or what I do play that I don't have a quick harvest for, something like that. But I know I put 2D adventure game here. This is the best Zelda game that's come out in the last, since Link Between Worlds. In my humble opinion. I like Breath of the Wild, I like Tears of the Kingdom. I don't like Tears of the Kingdom that much. And Echoes of Wisdom was fine. This is like a 2D Zelda game to its corest tenets of you upgrading your yo-yo, making it even stronger. I love the world itself and how you have to fight corporates despite being a part of the corporate yourself. It's very tongue-in-cheek in a cool way. I love the characters. I love the fact you play with a possessed yo-yo. It is just a lot of fun. It's just a fantastic little video game that I hope Pocket Trap make another one, because they just knocked it out of the park on their third attempt. It's got an open world mechanic. It's got a bunch of smaller little dungeons that you can explore if you so choose. It is shocking how good this game is and how good the execution is in terms of being a 2D Zelda-esque video game. Check it out, chat. It's really cool. Death Stranding 2 on the beach is 9th. I am a bigger supporter of this than other people. I think there was a big complaint that Death Stranding 2 didn't hit the same mark that Death Stranding 1 did, because of its more focus on being like kind of more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, kind of more broad in its story exploration. It doesn't feel as tight as Death Stranding 1 did. Surprisingly won nothing at Game Awards, so that's because another game swept. But in terms of how this game presents itself, I like it a lot. I like exploring Australia. The combat is far better in this game than the first one. It feels like a more streamlined experience, and it kind of has me hyped for a sequel. It's like they kind of worked out what the elements people like from Death Stranding 1 and just did more of that with 2. So check it out if you want. It's fun, it's good, it's a damn good video game. And also the music is very good. As someone who liked the first one, despite how weird it was, I was very much willing to give this game a shot. And I'm glad I did, because I enjoyed it. Trails in the Sky, first chapter, a game I haven't actually finished yet. Just ignore the ended deadline on that being after today. Trails in the Sky, first chapter. I was shocked by how good this was. It has taken me a while to reach this point and get into the end of this game. There was a massive hiatus where I wasn't playing it, and I was worried I wouldn't return to it, but I did. And I was initially put off by how slow the story was in some spots, and I was like, what are we doing here? Why are we spending so much time on this? And it kind of all comes ahead in the final chapter in a very satisfying way. Like, they bring back all the story elements and kind of wrap it up quite nicely so far. Now, obviously, I haven't finished yet, so I don't know what the final stuff does, but I have beaten the final boss, I think. I know that there's going to be more to the story. There's, like, Chapter 2 is apparently, like, this game's going to end on a cliffhanger, I think, which is nuts for an RPG this big. In terms of characters, Estelle and Joshua, especially Estelle, are really well-crafted characters. I like all the other characters in this game, to be fair, like Olivier, voiced by Matt Mercer, even Agate, who I thought I wasn't going to like at first because of how much of an asshole he was. I really warmed up to him in the Zeiss portion of this game. I was like, I like him now, he's neat. Gameplay is good. I like the mix between... This is more Metroid music? No, this is a Daggerfell. I like the gameplay and how it mixes action combat with turn-based combat, and the fact that the turn-based combat is also positional-based. So you need to be at certain enemy positions to actually do more damage to them is fun. It's not too difficult, which I do appreciate for a game like this. It actually is quite nice. But the quality of life features as well. The augments are fun. It's basically just a materia system from Final Fantasy VII, but it was really well done. I enjoy this game quite a bit. It might even be higher. I know a certain game I haven't gotten to on this list yet. You don't know. You don't know if I've played it. Number 7. Ender Magnolia Bloom Mist. I think this is the highest Metroidvania I played this year. Oh, no, it's not. Actually, it's not. There's another one. Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist is a Metroidvania that is a sequel to Ender Lilies, Quietus in the Night. I forget. Quietus doesn't think. In terms of being a sequel, this game knocks it out of the park in ways that I cannot describe. Combat is better than the first game. Everything that I had problems with the first game are fixed here. I love the new kind of vibes this game goes for. The first one's very fantasy, like kingdom-based or dark fantasy. This one is still dark fantasy, but it kind of combines some sci-fi elements with the homunculuses. And as a big fan of Fullmetal Alchemist, I was very excited to see what they do with the homunculuses in this game. Again, boss is great, music great, just everything that the first game did even better. The design of the areas in this game are maybe more impressive than the other one that is higher than this. They're so big and sprawling, but they're so intricately made. I was so impressed. I was very impressed by the devs of this, and I can't wait to see what they do with their next Metroidvania game. If they make a sequel to this, I don't know. Number 6. It is crazy that this game is this high. But like, what can I say about it that I haven't already said? I feel like I shouldn't say anything, because the amount I've talked about Persona 5 Royal, this game has been such a big part of my life this year. Like, trying to kind of put into words what this game has done is hard, I feel. The game that saved 2020, as I've heard. The game is so long, there's so many elements to it, that even the bad elements are kind of swamped by all the good stuff. The music is exceptional, the style is exceptional. While the story kind of falls apart in certain spots, I feel, the DLC certainly makes up for that and leaves you feeling pretty happy towards the end. Characters are really good. I like the DLC characters the most, I would say. I cannot wait to see what they do with Persona 6, is all I will add to this. And yeah, that was good. Not gonna play it again, though. Maybe never again. I'm good. I'm good dying, no, now I'm not gonna play this game again. Number 5, now squarely into the 90s. We have the highest rated Halloween game I played this year, Slay the Princess. I knew this game was going to be high. I knew this game was going to be very high, in fact. Considering that I'm a massive In Stars and Time fan, and this game has a very similar vibe to that in terms of how it presents its story. Like, black and white visual novel, just excellent writing. I am surprised it's over Persona 5 Royal. Mainly because I think the writing is just consistently good in this game, and I think what it achieves is far more interesting than Persona 5. I see a common criticism for this game being like, what is it doing? What is the point of it? What is it showing? Like, what is its message? And I feel like the message is basically like perception, change, showing how attitude and your choices have actual consequences on what is presented to you in the story. That presentation and how it leads to certain events is so compelling, and the way the game does its horror in so many different ways as well. The exploration of horror in this game is nuts. I feel like it isn't talked about enough how many different types of horror we get. We get gore, we get torture, we get ghosts, we get nightmare, we get mortality. Everything horror you can think of is probably in this game to some extent. I think like the standout moment for me in this game that made me go, oh, this is actually scary in a way that is not like other video games, is the part where the game goes and dives deep into the idea of mortality and the consequences of death and the fear of it. I was like, oh, okay, this is like scary in a way where games like, I don't know, Clock Tower are not, because this game is actually tapping into psychological horror, which I think works really well. There's obviously a bunch of physical horror as well, a lot of gore, a lot of torture in this game. If you do not like blood, this is not going to be the game for you, because there's a lot of it in this game. But no, just excellent. Black Tabby Games, they've got another game that I want to play at some point. I don't know if I'm going to stream it, but we'll see. And speaking of games with exceptional stories, The Last of Us Part 2. I finally got around to this game this year. A game that has been like ripped apart by fans so much. And the ironic thing is about it is now people are ripping apart the TV show for not being a good adaptation of this. Didn't it get a remaster? Didn't need a remaster. I'm not entirely against it. I thought the remaster was fine. What to say about Last of Us Part 2? I think the storytelling is as good as the first game, if not better. Very similar to Slay the Princess, the game is about perspective. And about, well, Slay the Princess is about perception, this game's about perspective. And showing that, like, in a zombie apocalypse, or in a fungi apocalypse, I guess in this case, decisions are made which are going to impact people, and the perceptions of those choices are going to be different depending on how they impact those people. Like, if you kill someone in a world because they're going to hurt you, or they're going to do something, and then that person's someone who's close to that person loses that person. They're going to feel that pain, that suffering, and can you really blame them for killing or trying to get revenge on you? I think the revenge plotline here is so well done. Also getting to find out more about the clickers, the whole part of Abby, just I love it. I love how this game's structured as well, the Seattle setting. If you want to go to Seattle and want like a bit of ideas of what to go here, this game is a perfect like advertisement for it. There's so much like actual Seattle lore here that you can actually read about. It's great. But no, yeah, very good. Way better than the TV show. This game got shit on so much when it came out because of certain decisions that it made and how risky it was. And I am forever proud of the devs for going that route with this game. They did a great job. Haven't even talked about the gameplay yet. It's so good. The stealth is great. I love how realistic it feels in spots. The kind of more sandbox mechanics this game has compared to Last of Us Part 1, it actually feels a lot more fleshed out, especially with the survival mechanics. Great time overall. And now, chat, we are in our top 3. And to continue on from that, we have, I believe, another story game that did not come out this year, but did come out last year. 1000 Times Resist. You're probably not going to know what this is, chat. If you do know, then cool, good. Check it out, play it, finish it if you haven't already. If you know what this game is and you haven't played it, please finish it. It is so good. 1000 Times Resist is an RPG that doesn't necessarily have that much gameplay in it, but is very much focused on telling a compelling narrative from start to finish. I can't really go that much into it without spoiling elements, but I will say that this game has a very interesting look into cloning and how different interpretations and roles of a clone in a post-apocalyptic world can change perceptions. And exploration of the past may reveal more information as you go. The devs of this game, I believe, are theatre people. During COVID, they couldn't do the theatre anymore, so they started working on a video game that kind of had theatrical elements to it and how it was orchestrated. Knowing like that the devs didn't really have that much in the way of designing new assets and art and how hard it was going to be for them, their decisions here that were made to make it easier for themselves were very, very cool. And I appreciate that the devs went down this route of being like, well, we're limited, why not do our best with what we have? And I'll definitely play what they do with this game next, what they do next, because like certain elements of the story like generally got to me emotional. I was like, fuck, God, what a video game. Like, it's less so a video game. If you want like actual proper gameplay, you're not gonna get that here, but if you want a good story, one that tells itself exceptionally well in so many different ways, the other games envy, and even TV shows envy they could do. Check it out. Play it. And now in second place, no surprises. Of course, we have... Hold on, let's hope song. You know, I was entertaining the idea of putting this a lot lower, because I did have massive problems with this game when I played it. Difficulty wise, because like the difficulty is just fucking yoked in spots. Like there's parts of this game that are just brutal, but like sitting on it and really thinking about it, outside of that one gauntlet, which I think was too much in one spot, the way this game challenges the player and doesn't hold back. Like, knows what it is, knows how brutal it is. I can't help but respect Team Cherry and their decision for it. This is a world that is brutal. This is a world that doesn't like you. Can I guess what number 1 is? You can guess after it shows up. What's this music? Metal Gear Solid 3. Yeah, it's a world that is brutal, that knows what it is and knows how mean it is, and doesn't necessarily hold back at all in any spots, and I really appreciate that about Team Cherry. I think the one thing they said about difficulty is the fact that you can do better if you look for certain items. And while that is the case, there is also a skill level to it, a skill ceiling that you need to reach to be able to get through certain things. And while there are parts of this game that really infuriate me, I can't help but again admire the level of balls the devs had to do this for a sequel to a game that is so beloved. And I'm so glad this game did well. I'm so glad that people love this game. Game Awards this game needed to win Best Indie. I'm sorry. I know I don't want to bring Game Awards into this. I mean, I literally started the thing by talking about it. But the game, the other game that won, it's not an indie game. Not in the same sense as Silksong is. And other games that deserve to be on this list, End of Magnolia is definitely one of them, I feel. But chat, that is Silksong. A game that I actually exceeded my expectations after a bunch of time and thinking about it. And that's why it's 95. Can't help but admire that Team Cherry knocked it out of the park again. For different reasons to Hollow Knight, I will say. And that leaves us with one. One game. The final game. Of course. Let's go. I mean, is it? It's not an unpopular opinion, is it? This game, unfortunately, was always going to be number one. Nothing else is going to beat this game. There's the other Ben Star game, indeed. Yeah, here it is. This is the game, chat. This is the one that won, as in best game that I played this year. Now, last year was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I didn't put this game as high as it, actually. I did like Rebirth a bit more. I think. I was thinking of Date Everything, which is not on the list. No. Yeah, I didn't play Date Everything this year. I don't need to say anything about this. Maybe I just don't say anything because people know how good this game is. The story crafting is still exceptional. The game never loses itself. I remember saying early on, I was like, this game's good now, but is it going to maintain this level of quality as it goes? And it does. Characters are great. Music is exceptional. Everything that this game won at Game Awards outside of Best Indie was deserved. But I kind of wish other games also got some credit during the Game Awards as well. Maybe we give Best Direction to maybe Death Stranding 2 or something. I don't know. But no, yeah. Exceptional video game. Nothing else to really note about it outside of I had an absolute blast of it and it was an RPG experience. I don't know if I'll ever get again. I like how these first places always go to RPGs. We had the same thing with Rebirth and we had the same thing in Stars and Time. Right. Chat. We've got a couple more things to talk about before we end the stream today. Mainly, coming up. What is coming up, chat? What can you be looking forward to over the next year in 2026? What is next? Well, as I said before, I will be doing a premiere stream of Ace Attorney Case 5. This will be the first thing we stream next year. Literally going to be starting it this week on Saturday. We should hopefully finish it in about 6 streams. That's the plan. And then moving on to our feature stream of the year, Skies of Arcadia. This is going to be my Persona 5 of the year. I have got plans for this in terms of how I'm going to do the story. I will probably talk about that when we get closer to the time, just so everyone is aware. OG or Legends, that's what I'm going to talk about. I need to work that out, so I'm going to do it hopefully at some point over the next couple of days or so. But no, I've been wanting to play this game for a couple of years now, and now we're going to finally get around to it next year. Should be fun. If we have Wii, we could do Legends. Or we have it overclocked. There's also some 2025 catch-up I have to do, because I forgot about other games that I was meant to do this year, but didn't have time for it. Onimusha 2 Remake and Castlevania Order of Ecclesia. I want to get around to them as soon as I can, just to get them done. Probably Onimusha 2 first. I'm going to wait for 3, because they might do a remake of 3 before Where the Sword comes out. And then Castlevania, I just forgot to play it. I was meant to play it during this period, but I just didn't do it. And as you can see, I didn't even put Portrait of Ruin on here. I like her a lot. She's cool. What, this female character here. Is her name Ecclesia? I doubt it. And then we got the Scattershot series, chat. You know what my Scattershot series are. Where I do a bit of the game on recording and the rest off recording. I'm going to be going through the Lara Croft trilogy, the collection of games. I'm mainly doing this because the new Lara Croft games are coming out. There's one that's coming out next year. And I thought, what better time to get into the series than now? I've always wanted to play them, so here we go. This will be it, like how Ninja Gaiden was the one last year. We're going to do this one this year, I think. And that's it. What is the date of the Case 5 stream? That'll be Saturday at 1 PM this week. So that'll be the 3rd of January. There are other ideas. I'm not going to bring back the Flower Suffer series next year. I don't think there's anything I want to play in that regard. But I have got another idea of doing a monthly stream of something, and I will talk about that when we get to it. Not now, though. That'll be revealed at another date. But I hope you enjoyed this stream, chat. Went through a lot of games this year. Like, a lot of them. Look at this. Oh my god! So many video games! I think there were more games in this year than last year, but I just forgot to include the ones that were meant to be on here, like Portrait of Ruin, and also Deltarune. But oh well. Right, chat, I'm going to go out with a calming music, and we had a bot via the end of the stream! Get out of here, Mr. Bot. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing that. I'll see you all on the 3rd of January for the Ace Attorney stream. Thank you all for joining me for my ranking. And I'll see you next time, chat. Goodbye.